All right, guys, we are live, and this is the RGN New Year's Open Area 51 versus Exile in the round of 8, and we are starting things off on cash. This was Exile's pick, as we do see Area 51 on the CT side here. So again, I am Sprawl. By my side is Bach, and we are more than happy to bring you guys this match tonight.
I do think this is one of those typical counter pick strategies you're seeing by Exile. They saw how poorly Area 51 played Cash the other day, and maybe they're hoping to catch them off guard by picking it yet again. So who knows? Maybe Area 51's been practicing after they had a bit of a slip up playing against Paradox in their last match. Nonetheless, it does look like Exile is going for a fake play here. There's two men in the A garage, and they're smoking and flashing out, but the bomb is all the way over by B, and Area 51 has fallen for this hook, line, and sinker. All 5 players have rotated over. Professor Chaos is going to drop Irakanji, but Miniker and Jay Mitchell taking down Rush and Valens, and now they're realizing it. Bomb is not here, and bomb is going to be planted over on the B bomb site. There's one person there that's in heaven. That's Area 52, and Arya is going to try and take the duel here, not able to come out ahead. Miniker is going to get dropped by Professor Chaos, making it a 3 versus 3 right now with the bomb ticking away. Another kill for Professor Chaos. That's a 3K on the round. And now it's 3 versus 2. Arya about to drop in from heaven. There's a man in checker and 2 on site. And he's going to go for that peek on Professor Chaos. Gets into the duel here, but he is not coming out the victor. Professor Chaos gets the 4K in pistol. Automatic, dropping the other person in sight. And that is the first round on the board for Exile here on Cash.
One thing to note there is, and again, I hate to read into this too much, but Summit just shot at Arya as he went to go check checkered, and that just shows to me that maybe not completely warmed up. He doesn't know the positioning of his teammate, and that I know that, again, being a Summit follower, I think he was just on vacation. So hopefully that doesn't affect his gameplay too much for the sake of Area 51, but regardless, we are here in round number 2. Exile picking that up perfectly, working that fake to a T. And that's going to give him that pistol round, and also important pistol round on the T side of Cash. So now we're going to see some action up in mid. Already Arya trying to get a frag there, but eventually gets dropped to the HE grenade of Rush. So now one player on the CT side down, and that's an important frag because they do have armor across the board. Irakanji will eventually take down Valens, so evening things up, but only has 15 HP, so needs to be very careful as now we do see the terrorists moving in through A main. Jay Mitchell trying to get a little peeky, but from the forklift goes down to Mask. Now Summit, last one alive from Quad. Is he going to be able to make it happen? He's not. So now it's up to all but Miniker as Irakanji will get dropped at truck side. Now trying to get those deagle shots. He gets rushed with a beautiful headshot there, and that's going to be some good economic damage as he's hoping to try and get at least a little bit more. He doesn't have a kit, so probably not in a position to retake here, but he's going to get dropped down to 11 HP, now opting to save his deagle, it looks like, as he does have 87 armor left on him as well. But we do see Professor Chaos coming through B, and Miniker, though, onto him, he's holding an angle where Professor Chaos gets a little bit too aggressive, might run into that crosshair, but we'll find out here in a moment as Exile picks up their second round. And again, Miniker, he's able to save this deagle and armor. That's going to be nice for that next round.
Yeah, that was great play there. I had a problem with my mic there for a second. I do apologize. That was great play there from Exile. Nice shooting from Miniker to try and pick up some frags, but unfortunately, Area 51 only taking down 2 players. Valens sitting with a Glock now. He does buy the Tech 9. Okay, so a little bit confusing there. They're going to be facing a pretty much full eco. Miniker the only one with armor, keeping that deagle, and we'll see if he can get some more frags with it in round number 3.
Yeah, they're going to be boosting up into the vents here as Miniker now in an opportune position, but the real action is where 3 CTs are pushing through A main, and we do see Professor Chaos. He is aware that this could be the case, and will get one frag. Will he get another? He gets a second. We see Arya getting one, but firing back immediately. Now Arya, last one on the field, he's able to pick up a Galil for his efforts, but in a 1v4, we might just see him just try and save, as he is heading back into A main. Again, Galil in hand does have a flashbang here, and looks like from the positioning of the rest of the T players, they're planting in B, but they are definitely getting ready for this hunt as Valens, he is coming into A as he's got his Tech 9. Can he get the frag? He does, and he'll collect that Galil now. He most likely won't have to buy unless he really wants to upgrade to an AK, but I imagine he's going to be sticking with that Galil. He'll actually pass it to Professor Chaos. That's what I do when I get a Galil. I pass it to one of my teammates because I hate the gun myself.
Another decent anti-eco there from Exile, only losing one player, getting the bomb planted as well. But they're going to be facing off against that full buy here from Area 51. Miniker picking up the AWP. Unfortunately, it's a glass cannon. Arya not able to pick up armor, or head armor for that matter. Irakanji, the same situation. And Jay Mitchell, only one player with full armor, and he's only stuck with a flash on top of that. That's Summit, so they could easily get rocked here in round number 4, and then they're stuck on eco again, as they are so broke. I mean, only $150 left across the entire team. So they're putting a lot in this round, and if they lose this, it's going to be another eco, and they could potentially be looking at a 5-0 scoreline in favor of Exile.
Yeah, and just to put that into perspective, last time Area 51 played this map, they only got 5 on the T side, ended up coming back and winning 16-14 on the CT side. So you definitely can do work if you get only 5 rounds, and if you get them early on as well, that's just so important, because then, again, you're kind of relaxed. You can be working strategies that maybe are different from your standard default ones that might catch your opponents off guard, and you feel a little bit more confident utilizing those strategies purely because you have some stuff to work with. But we are going to see Arya. He's going to be peeking A highway, catches Valens out of position there, as was trying to get aggressive, but this is a B side play, as now Irakanji, he's the only one up in heaven, as Jay Mitchell, he's completely smoked off from CT connector, and the bomb site is inside of the T's control at this point, now getting the bomb down in the back of sight.
Yeah, and automatic almost catching the head of Jay Mitchell through the smoke there. So close. He's going to toss that molly into upper, force Irakanji down. Arya pushing in. I believe that was from Checker. He's going to get gunned down by Professor Chaos. There's going to be another one coming out of vents, and Professor Chaos is going to go down to him. That was Summit. It's now a 2 versus 2, and that's going to be Summit and Irakanji. Irakanji dropping out of heaven. Mask does get the shot. So Summit, the last man standing with 15 HP. Mask is going to pick up the kill. That is a 3K for her. Yes, that's right, her. Before we get into this big thing in chat, Mask is a female. So yes, Mask is a girl. She does pick up the 3K there and pushes Exile to 4-0 on the first map, which is Cash.
Yeah, she's a god as well. She is a very, very skilled female player, and you guys saw that frag video? That was actually from her hard work as well, so props to her, as I thought that was fantastic. A little bit of highlighting from their previous experience in our tournament here, as now moving into round number 4, they're feeling pretty darn good, starting on that T side on their map pick. Now Summit's going to go down as he tries to rush with a 5-7 in hand rush, putting an end to that, as now only Jay Mitchell alive inside of the site. Miniker kills Irakanji. That was interesting. Yeah, it was a Deagle headshot, so at least it was a good one, as Arya, he's in a very opportune position, but doesn't get a single frag for it, and honestly, this just looks like Area 51 isn't warmed up. They do not look like they're hitting their shots like they should be, and that is definitely going to be in favor of Exile, as they are hitting all their shots right now. They are up 5-0 right now. If we look at the frags on the board, 2 for Jay Mitchell and Arya, only 1 for Irakanji, Summit, and Miniker. We're 5 rounds. This is a 6th round of this match. They need to wake up sometime soon, or they're going to find themselves easily for Exile in a 1-0 situation, fighting back on map number 2.
Now, to be fair, Miniker had 2 kills, but since that TK dropped him down 1,
good point.
So there's 8 deaths on the T side for Exile, but still not exactly ideal. You see Mask has not died yet. She's 6-0 right now.
Oh,
Professor
man,
Chaos at 9-2.
That's going to be Summit getting 2 as they boosted up. 1 in Shroud Fall, 1 right below it, and Professor Chaos will be able to fire back here. Miniker and Summit, last 2 alive, as they do take a site, but maybe not as cleanly as they had hoped. They did not suspect that that boost was going to be utilized, as now again Miniker and Summit in a 2v3.
Summit getting a big kill though, dropping the bomb. And there's plenty of time left here for them to pick it up. But Professor Chaos down to 22 HP. Mask is going to have to take out this man. Oh my gosh, Mask gets dropped by Miniker. Miniker's going to get taken down by Professor Chaos. Professor Chaos has been playing lights out so far. He's 12-2 right now, and it's him versus Miniker. 22 HP versus a full-up Miniker. But Miniker, no armor, so he's got that glass cannon in hand. The op, no armor. Professor Chaos going for the shoulder peek. Oh my gosh, how does he escape that?
What a jump.
Jay Mitchell, you can hear Jay Mitchell in voice chat in game just so confused as to how that just happened. Oh my goodness.
And he gets the frag. Wow.
I don't know how that happened.
Wow, a 4K for Professor Chaos, and that is going to leave Area 51. Even if they were feeling bad coming into that one, they felt good having the bomb down. That scenario was definitely in their favor. And then missing that jump shot, that was like through the legs as he strafed around the corner. A 4K for Professor Chaos. He's at 13-1-2 right now.
Yeah, Professor Chaos is playing out of his mind. Just completely nuts. So I think he's going to be a huge factor in the set of games. Mask at 7-1. They combined are 20-3. That is nuts. Miniker is going to pick up a Devo kill here on automatic. The Mask trading him out quickly. So not too much loss there. Rush gets dinked down early in vents. Down to 5 HP. Gets dropped by Summit and Arya. Valen's able to get the trade there. Irakanji is down. And Mask is going to be able to push into the B bomb site. There's a man in the checkerboard area, and he somehow goes undetected. That was Jay Mitchell getting taken down, though. Professor Chaos cleaning up, killing Area 52, and it's all down to Summit with that 5-7, and he's going to get dropped by Professor Chaos. So another strong round from Exile, 7-0, and it's starting to get out of hand here. Area 51's got to do something.
Yeah, 7 rounds in a row on the T side of Cash. Exile is just partying at this point. They're feeling great as... Like I said earlier, Area 51, to put this in perspective, they won versus Paradox on this map. They only needed 5 on the T side to come back and make it 16-14 on the CT side. So definitely, it's a CT-sided map. Never mind that Exile picked this map knowing that, maybe Area 51, if they do get us in trouble on that T side, we'll come back on our CT side. But with 7, they're in a great spot. But Miniker, he's going to drop Rush very early on in that mid-warehouse. So that's going to be a nice pick for Area 51, as we do see the T's just spread out around the map. Professor Chaos just coming back from Squeaky Door, as it does look like they are going to be regrouping around mid.
I do apologize for the little bit of silence there. I got a phone call, and it's one of those things sometimes you just have to... I know, right? Sometimes people still call me on phones.
Oh, man. I just get instant messages.
Exile is down a player already. That's Rush down. That's a big loss for them. He's a talented player. Even though he's sitting at the bottom of the scoreline, you can't underestimate what a player like Rush brings to the table. Does look like, though, we're going to see an A execute here as Exile pushes out. There's a man on quad box, and Arya with that off. The smokes and flashes just lighting up Exile. Professor Chaos is going to catch Miniker out over on Toxic. Automatic taking down Arya. Mask drops Summit, who took down Professor Chaos. It's a 2 versus 2. Mask at 22, Automatic at 93, facing off the full-up Irakanji and Jay Mitchell. They had plenty of time to plant, but Mask is going to get dropped. That's bombed down, and Jay Mitchell cleaning up Automatic. So that's the first round on the board for Area 51. And that's going to be a big one, but at the same time, they can't afford to lose this round because they just built up full round loss bonus, and now they're going to be down. If they lose this one, they'd be down to 0 again. So they'd be completely broke. They'd have to eco. So they have to start chaining the rounds together right now. Even if they won out, this is a really good half from Exile.
Yeah, Exile is not worried at all. And if they can break the economy of Area 51, they could run away with this map number 1 as 7 rounds to 1 CT round. Again, it is an understatement to say that this is an important round for Area 51. They need to shut down Exile here and do it in convincing fashion, as they want to save as many guns as they can, as their economy, like you were saying, so hurt. As we are a minute and 13 left on the clock here. We got Automatic and Mask just working outside of B. The bomb now slowly rotating over as well, but still spread out across the map. We see Valens and Professor Chaos near this A site. Does look like they're going to be working a fake. Again, we saw this on their pistol round, just kind of having a lot of noise over at that A site and hoping that the rotate is underway. As we do see now, they're slowly creeping up towards this B site. Again, Professor Chaos, Valens just making lots of noise. Arya will be able to drop Valens, and the more kills the CTs can get, yeah, they put down all of those A-side players. So now trying to take this B site, we're going to have Mask taking down Jay Mitchell. She's actually going to flash her way through the smoke 1v4, as she does have a lot of lit CTs on the map. 30 seconds left, and we do see Summit is going to be coming around the corner. Gets the frag, though, and that's a great shot by Summit, as Area 51, again, that was a very important round, and only losing 1 player, that is the way they needed to take it.
Yeah, that was the round that Area 51 really needed. They're still not out of the woods yet. At this point, like we said, they need to win out. To have a healthy CT side at all, they need to win out. And any rounds they lose, it's just going to put them even further in the hole. You know, even if they let Exile get one more round, they've basically given Exile the lead going into the CT side because they can only do at best an 8-7 half with them at the 7. So not ideal at all. That round did look great though. Miniker hit a ton of great off shots. And they're starting out nicely here in round 10. Irukandji's going to drop Valens automatic down to 6 HP early. Summit did catch a nade around big box and mid, but right now Exile definitely up. Feeling good. So even though they're losing rounds at this point, they are plenty pleased with their performance.
Yeah, and we do see that op shot from Miniker hit Professor Chaos in a way that bomb flies across B's site. Now Automatic will be able to take down Miniker. Mask goes down to Jay Mitchell, is now holding from sight, fully blind as Rush as he tries to take the site, but Jay Mitchell able to close this out. 3 frags for him. And again, I don't know if Auto Director or our producer was on that, but as that op frag landed, Miniker hitting that shot, literally the bomb launched from one side to the other. So some more awesome bomb physics, as I believe it was Area 51 versus Paradox, where we saw over and over front of A site at Overpass. They tried to get that smoke down and get the bomb planted, and the bomb would just go flying every time that they lost it. They didn't get the bomb down, so we're seeing some of that action here, not affecting the round too much, but we are into round number 11. It is going to be a buy on both sides here. Valens, not a heck of a lot of equipment on him, but we do see Summit. He's going to flash his way in. Automatic will punish him for it, though, and that's a big frag early on in this round.
Yeah, that's going to weaken that defense there, and they could probably rotate out and head over towards B. If they did so, there's only one man on B. I believe that is Miniker, though. Professor Chaos is going to drop Area 52, Mega Server, aka Miniker, going to take down Rush with that op. But they're going to be on the site here. 3 versus 3, Miniker, Irukandji, and Jay Mitchell versus Valens, Professor Chaos, and Automatic. And there's already one in A garage. That's going to be a big position here as they're not going to peek him. Irukandji rips the head off of Automatic. So it's now a 2 versus 3. Now a 1 versus 3. Valens coming in on the flank from Truck with that Tech 9, but he's not going to be able to stop this defuse. He's hoping to just hurt that economy, and he does find a ridiculous headshot onto Irukandji. Irukandji, not much to say other than, well, there's that. That's the Tech 9 in a nutshell. So good economic damage there from Exile, but Area 51 here mounting a bit of a comeback, trying to get that scoreline to 8-7 if they can, ideally coming in with the lead, moving over to the unfavored T side. Exile, though, has really set a pace that Area 51 is struggling to keep up with, even though they've been winning a couple rounds. Like we've mentioned, Exile has already done the damage, so if Exile moves over to CT and just picks up where they left off in the first half of this half, Area 51 is really going to be hurting.
And we do see Summit and Arya both working this boost spot once again, as now up in the Shroud spot. That's going to be Arya here. Summit falling back towards Quad. It does look like it will be another A-side take as Mask and Professor Chaos working squeaky. The others from A main, and here comes the nades out as we do see Professor Chaos getting that frag early on. Arya jumps down after getting a frag. Rush puts him down and out, though, as Miniker now in sight with an AWP in hand gets the 1 frag. Irukandji helping out from the balcony. Mask finally drops Automatic, or rather Miniker there. Irukandji firing back 1v2 now as Mask, only terrorist left alive, walking towards site again. Irukandji very lit from highway. Will throw that nade, now falling back to a new angle as we do see he's walking around through mid warehouse. Ooh, Jay Mitchell going down. That is massive, as now Irukandji 1v1 situation. The bomb is being planted. He's got 19 HP. As he's slowly walking up here, he does have a kit, so he does have plenty of time. He's going to peek around this corner, sees the barrel of the gun, gets the frag, and Mask is not going to be too happy about that. That positioning, though, was perfect for Irukandji, as you could see, as he walked up, could see the barrel of the gun, just slowly took the shot, and that's going to be the round here for Area 51. 5 rounds on the board on this CT side, as they've got all 5 of those in a row.
And you kind of wonder Mask's positioning there. We've praised her in the past. She's a fantastic player and probably one of the best female players in CSGO right now in North America. So you kind of question her positioning there. That was not exactly the best spot to sit in post-plant. Maybe she should have gone towards quad box, maybe back towards A main or something. Just a better position. Forklift would have been strong as well, but instead she opts to go. I guess she assumed that Irukandji was closer than he was and she wouldn't have time. Still, though, they took down 4, so 4 guns out of the hands of Area 51. That always helps. And we're going to see Exile right now kind of forcing up with the double Galil buy, 3 AKs as well. Not necessarily a forced buy, but not optimal either.
Yeah, working slow here are the T's, as again they have Rush and Mask working towards the B site. Now we'll have Professor Chaos with them as well. Automatic now boosted up in mid, so he's going to be getting some control there. I imagine he's going to be going from the vents, but Irukandji will start things off with 1 frag on the Mask, getting traded upon though. Rush taken down, and now Jay Mitchell alive in sight, takes down Professor Chaos. Grouped up in the back corner, doesn't get the frag though, as they were 2 fully blind terrorists. Jay Mitchell not able to get that one, as now the T's are able to take control of B site, planning in the very, very back here. 3v3 situation, 2 very lit terrorists. We'll see if Area 51 can retake.
And Miniker was in great position to stop this. His nades somehow just didn't do as much damage as I thought it would when it first rained out. Mollies and nades are going to rain out on the site. Summit's going to peek a little too early, take down Rush, but get traded out immediately. It's down to Automatic here. Takes one, makes it a 1v1. Hits that off shot, though. He's down to 3 HP, so it's Miniker versus Automatic, Op versus AK. 3 HP versus 100. And who will hit the shot? Automatic going for the peek, doesn't hit. He's going to try and jiggle peek him right now. And somehow Miniker gets the shot, but does he have the time? Oh my gosh!
Oh, that
so
was
close.
like half a second away.
A little sliver slice of time left there. Area 51 taking another round.
I've never seen that before. It came up on the screen. It was 0.3 seconds.
Yeah, I've seen that before. When it gets down under like 0.5 seconds, it shows up.
Interesting, interesting. Today I learned. As moving into round 14 here, Area 51 picking that one up, and again, they need all these CT side rounds, so those close clutches, they need them so badly. So Miniker, he's going to be feeling great about that. He's sitting at 12 frags, top fragging for Area 51. He's definitely one of those players, being one of the main oppers here. Irukandji, he's got one as well, but Miniker definitely the main opper, as if they can have him hitting shots, he's definitely going to be an asset to their team. As now the A site looks like it's the one of contention. Mask going down to the op of Irukandji, and I didn't actually see the frag, but the positioning of Irukandji makes me think that was through the smoke. So I don't know if you caught that, Buck, but
I did. He was actually in checkerboard, I believe.
Okay, gotcha. So he wasn't checkers there.
Yeah.
Got the frag into B main. As again, we do see it is going to be an A side play. Arya dropping that firebomb right outside of A main, and that's gonna cause some issues as they do open up Squeaky. Professor Chaos is there. Automatic gets a nice frag onto Miniker. That's a player you want to bring down, as now Arya and Summit are able to get a couple. Professor Chaos now in a 1v2 has the bomb near him and doesn't realize this, but the CTs are fairly far away. Irukandji holding a nice angle, though. He's going to be from the Z connector, just peeking over that hazard box, and that's going to be the exact spot that Professor Chaos tries to peek, goes down, and we're on a 7-7 scoreline. I quite honestly would have never predicted that we'd have 7 rounds in one favor and then straight over to the other side 7 rounds.
I actually thought we would see 11-4 in favor of Exile in the first half. The way they played the first 7 rounds, Area 51 had no answer. Now what's happening is Area 51's built up that confidence, and you can see it in the way that they're playing. Irukandji and Miniker both hitting their shots with the AWP. That's devastating. Right now, Exile doesn't really have an AWP presence on the map, and I don't know if that's just the way they play, or if that's just because they lost Slemmy. I'm not really sure, but we are going to see Exile not starting out great here, as Summit's going to drop Professor Chaos in Squeaky Door. He's going to go for the spray down. Gets one, but he's going to have to fall back here as the push is on. Gets into a duel with Valens, and Valens comes out the victor. Makes it a 3v3, but they are all well lit here. Miniker right around the edge of red box. And he's just going to bait out that plant. He's going to hit a nutty shot on the rush. Make it a 3 versus 2. And every CT at full HP. Both players on the T's lit. 84 and 53 on Valens and Mask. It's going to be a hard defense here in round number 15. They're trying to do what they can, trying to take out that 8-7 scoreline and come out on top at half. And Valens, the last man standing, just hiding in the smoke, and they know he's there. They're just trying to spam it, not able to find him. Eventually, Jay Mitchell takes him down. Defuse is in. So 8-7 in favor of Area 51, and I'd be lying if I said I saw this coming.
Yeah, interesting scoreline as Area 51, again, they come back and technically win the half, I say technically because they were on that favorite side. So now moving over to the T side, we'll see if they have what it takes. Again, they only got 5 against Paradox. And I would say that Exile a stronger lineup than the Paradox lineup. So we'll see if they have what it takes to get these rounds. Obviously, be an understatement to say that pistol round is not important here, as most of the momentum moving to this next half will be because of whoever wins that first round. So we are just waiting for these players to get ready up. It does look like we actually lost someone, as they may just be reconnecting. Sometimes that happens in between, just to clear up any connection issues. So we'll see if, again, Area 51 has what it takes. Exile, they had that beautiful pissed around T-side strat. Working that fake, had 2 of their players just flashing, making tons of noise over A, and it worked out so well. And I imagine, though, I don't think Area 51 is going to utilize the same kind of fake strategy, purely because they got sold so hard on their own that they might feel that Exile, they kind of know those kinds of strategies well, so maybe just a full-out A take, maybe mid-control, do a split A, or they might just do a split B. Again, there's only so many options on Cash here, but again, we're just waiting for these players to ready up. This is map number 1. Map number 2 will be Dust2, which is Area 51's pick. Yeah, correct. Sorry, just getting that correct in my head.
I think this is Exile's pick, this map.
Right, exactly. Hence why they started on that T side. So the next one is Dust2, and that's Area 51's map. And I believe that in our pre-show analytics, sir, you were saying that you were hoping that maybe Area 51 didn't pick that map. Was that the case?
Yeah, because Exile plays Dust2 very well, because of the fact that they're all really talented aimers, but at the same time, so is Area 51. So, I mean, I guess you could call that map kind of like a coin toss, but if I were to pick, I'd say Dust2 definitely in favor of Exile. When I saw the order of the maps that came out, I thought, wow, like Exile could totally win this in 2-0. I would have thought 2-1 with a close overtime until I saw the maps. When I saw the maps, I thought Exile could win this 2-0.
Yeah, and having Overpass as that third map, I don't think Area 51 is going to want to let it get that far, as we did see their performance against Paradox was less than optimal, and it was their pick. So this one's a random one, and they will be able to knife for sides. So maybe starting on that CT side, they might be able to make something happen if we do hit that map, of course, as we are live in round number 2 of Pistol, and already Professor Chaos, he's going to take a little bit of team damage, down to 86 HP, but not a huge deal. Valens and Professor Chaos, they both have kits in their hand, 2 flashes as well. The rest of the team will be utilizing the armor, but it is going to be... Oh, geez. It is a complete A take, and they've rushed B. So now, coming up on the flank, this is where it gets interesting, as now Jay Mitchell will be able to call to his team. Oh my god, it's a massive flank. They're going to be flashing through out of A main here. Jay Mitchell close left. If they can get that frag, they can open up into sight here, and eventually they do. Now Summit in contention as he's near quad box will get a frag. Miniker getting one as well. Arya and Irukanji getting the frags, but Professor Chaos 1v2, he's been that key star player for Exile so far in this map number 1. We'll see if he can make it happen, but no, Miniker puts him down, and that's going to be the round for Area 51. Exile trying to go kind of balls to the wall on that rightmost B site rush, but isn't going to work out in their favor, as Area 51, they definitely needed that first pistol round win.
Yeah, that takes them now to 9-7, a much better score than I would have anticipated if you had told me that at half, or at the beginning of the game. After about 7 rounds, they were down 7-0, came back, won 8-7, and now they're just picking up where they left off. That strategy from Exile could have worked wonderfully if they hit their shots. Unfortunately, they were losing duel after duel, and I think Jay Mitchell getting back to A Garage just in time to call it out really helped the team. So the flank didn't really come in the way they maybe anticipated it to. But that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a team pull that off. Meanwhile, though, we're going to see Rush starting things out with a CZ kill from Checkerboard onto Miniker. Arya and Jay Mitchell respawn. Automatic and Exile Rush are off the board. It's down to Valens, Mask, and Professor Chaos here. 3v4. And Valens just goes absolutely insane. Drops the bomb and then tosses the smoke down as well. Jay Mitchell's going to run in and pick it up. But wow, nice shot from Valens to slow down that push. Summit, meanwhile, is going to take down 1, make it a 2v3. And at this point, I don't think they're going to play for the defuse. They're just kind of trying to get as many kills as they can. As we do see Professor Chaos falling out into mid, maybe trying to take vents and take out a couple heads. It does look like they're just going to kind of play back a little bit, maybe play some exit frags. I don't think they're necessarily prepared to push. They're just going to try and do some economic damage to Area 51. So maybe a smart play from Exile here. I kind of would like to see them just kind of storm in. Irukandji getting dinked by Valens. Valens can't polish him off. Down to 5 HP. That's got to be frustrating, but Professor Chaos is going to be in great position to potentially polish him off. It doesn't matter. Bomb does the damage. Still, though, just to get this frag. Oh, my goodness. How does that not happen?
Yeah, that was very, very close. And, yeah, anyhow, that's going to be the round as we do see Exile. They take away some weapons, only 2 Ts left there. So more of an expensive round that they probably hoped for. That was their second round of the half, an anti-eco, and we do see on the CT side, once again, they're going to be utilizing CZ75 on Rush. Again, they've made those changes. It is definitely a viable gun. He doesn't get very much money for his kills, but if he can take away money from the other side, that's all he's looking for at this point. So Mask, she's going to be on site with Professor Chaos. A site is going to be the one to be contested as Irukandji takes down Valens very quickly here. Now trying to come around the corner onto site. Those are going to be all the frags that the Ts need to gain control of the site. Now Rush and Automatic trying to make something happen here as, again, CZ75 will take down Summit eventually. 2 bullets left. That's not going to be enough as a 1v3 now. Let's see if Automatic can get any more frags. He's got the headshot angle. Finally gets Arya, as I was expecting that to happen eventually, but just was not getting over that hitbox of the truck. Again, models in this game sometimes a little bit larger than they look, and Miniker will be able to finally take down Automatic. Again, a very expensive round for Area 51.
Yeah, they're taking out multiple players on their ecos. It's huge. I mean, they're going to need multiple rebuys here, so that's putting Exile in a position where if they win a couple rounds, they're getting Area 51 and eco that much faster. And that's obviously ideal. However, with the pistol situation, again, back where it used to be with the CZ being as strong as it is, the Tech-9 being really strong, you know, eco rounds aren't necessarily as guaranteed as they once were. So Exile really needs to start chaining some rounds together right now. They're on their first full buy here. That's 3 in a row here for Area 51. And it does look like they're pushing towards A. They've pretty much got all of their eggs in that basket right now. 3 in main, 4 in main, 1 going squeaky. That's Irukandji. So the stack on A is there. It's just a matter of time before they execute. Irukandji getting ready to toss that smoke over. So once that blooms, I'm sure they're going to be pushing out into the site.
Yeah, here we go as we do see Mask AWP in hand takes down Arya. That's the first player trying to come out, and we do see Irukandji sending those flashbangs into sight. Not going to be effective though as Valens. He's going to peek towards Squeaky, takes down Irukandji. Mask still in an optimal position as Automatic takes down Jay Mitchell. Summit comes out, gets a frag, but now it's all up to Miniker. 1v4 situation. He is going to be able to take down Valens as he's peeking from balcony. Now in a 1v3. 40 seconds on the clock. He's got plenty of time to play with here. Does have the bomb down in front of him though, and that's going to be a difficult one to gather as we do see Mask is holding a very nice angle from quad, gets the frag, and that's going to be the first round on the board for Exile on their CT side.
Yeah, I do want to point out something. I haven't seen Miniker really play this good in a while. We've watched Area 51 play a couple maps. I've seen them play in Sivo. I've seen them play in our tournament as well. And Miniker really hasn't been the Miniker I remember from the Manajuma lineup. And I guess the same could really go for Irukandji. Both players just haven't really hit their stride. I'm finally seeing Miniker, and I'm getting flashes of the Miniker I remember from the old Manajuma lineup. So that's impressive, but that's also scary for anyone that's going to face off against Area 51 in that they're scaling up right now. They're not getting worse. They're getting better. So this roster could be very good in due time. Right now, though, obviously on an eco, they're really struggling. They haven't found a kill yet. Arya, Irukandji, and Miniker all down. Summit and Jay Mitchell, the last two standing on 84 HP between the two of them. It looks like Summit is going to try and ninja the bomb over towards A, and he could potentially get this plan off if Mask can't get the angle in time, but she's in position, ready to take that shot, and she gets it through the red box. Mask, you are an animal.
Yeah, that was a godly shot there. So I'm like, oh, if he jumps properly, he might actually be able to make it across, but he jumped properly and just gets owned through that box. So Mask hitting a nice shot, and that's honestly very important as If they got that bomb plant, we look at the money situation for the T side. They are able to buy, but look at Miniker, for example, Summit, for example. They have no nades. Well, Miniker's got a flash, but that's about it. They would be able to fully stack nades if they had that plan. So very important that you keep them from planting the bomb and keep their economy a little bit lower, as we do see automatic. He's going to peek out, gets taken out by Irukanji. If he can get this frag onto Professor Chaos as well, that'll be very important. But did they line up? Are you kidding me right now? Miniker and Irukanji, from a 6-shot from Irukanji to a misplay like that. Area 51 is not going to be happy, as now a 3v4 situation. Rush putting down Arya, and Area 51 looks like they are going to get stuffed here as Rush continuing the carnage. Jay Mitchell, last one alive, trying to get that headshot under Rush inside of Z Connector. Will be able to pop that vent. Might follow up inside of the B site, but in a 1v4, this is going to be rough.
And I don't think that was necessarily too much of a misplay by Area 51. The double peek, they weren't really lined up too bad. The problem was that Miniker had no body armor at all. He was glass cannoning yet again. That's like the 3rd time I've seen him do it this game. So he dropped pretty quick. So really it was just a matter of him. He took down Irakanji, who had armor, and Miniker just happened to be there. The stray bullets took him down. So a 2K for Professor Chaos really propels Exile into the victory in round number 21. Takes it to that 11-10 scoreline, and we're going to see Exile facing off another eco round from Area 51. And we could be seeing a tie score for the first time since 7-7 when Area 50 came back from a 7-round deficit. So definitely going to be pumped if I'm on Exile after losing 11 rounds in a row. To come back and win a couple, it's going to feel good. We're going to see Mask with that AWP. Take down one. Goes for the repeat. Can't find the shot. Miniker hits a nutty 1D. So get those wands going in chat. Arya right now pushing through the smoke. Not able to spot out Valens, who's playing over towards the Shroud spot. He's playing underneath it. Bomb is going to get planted over on A, but it's a 4 versus 2 right now. Miniker picks up that op, so he might be able to get a frag or two. Sitting behind quad box right now with 88 HP. Does get taken down by automatic, so a good round there from Exile. Only losing one player, that was Mask. She did have that AWP, but they're going to be able to pick up 2 here and potentially save those for the next round. So not really losing too much money is the CT side of Exile. And we're going to see a full buy again from Area 51. Hopefully better off than their last full buy, which kind of fell apart. It wasn't really optimal because of the lack of nades and body armor on a couple players.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make of it. And I just want to commend Valens for his play there. He actually, as they were coming out of A main, switched positions with them through the smoke and made it to underneath that Shroud spot there. So that was a great play by him, and with that silencer, they didn't know where he was for so long. We saw Arya die to him without having any idea of the positioning. So Mask getting a perfect frag onto Miniker, getting that door open for her, gentleman style, and then she takes that shot. So that was a great play by her. Now a 5v4 situation will be an A-side play, as they are going to try and take the site. They've already taken at least the T side of site. Summit now coming from underneath the balcony, gets the 1 frag. Mask might go down, does go down to Summit as well, as he's peeked out all the way to Truck. Takes down Professor Chaos as well. Arya gets a frag. Valens now in a 1v2, and I think they realize that he's still over on that A site against Valens being very slippery, as he was playing that A site and they made it all the way past him. Now in a 1v2, he's got to make it all the way over to this B site. We do see, obviously, on our screen that both players, Summit and Arya, have made it all the way over there, but Valens will finally catch wind of one of the players. The bomb has been planted. He's got an incendiary. He's lining it up so it goes perfectly into the back of sight, and that's right beside Arya. Now burning alive, doesn't realize, peeks out, but that's going to be all Arya needs to take down Valens in heaven and give Area 51 another round on this T side. So Exile not quite out of this, as they are on that CT side. It is favored, and they are looking pretty decent on it, but Area 51, if they can put some more on the board here and put Exile onto Eco, that is going to be a great situation for Area 51.
I don't know if you saw what Valens was doing there. Valens rushed the squeaky door, and Miniker was right on the other side, and he was just like toying with Miniker, closing the door as Miniker was trying to open it. Pretty funny to watch in game. But yeah, the rounds seemed to be going the way of Exile, and they just couldn't stop the push onto A, and unfortunately, it was Valens in the squeaky door. He just caught the edge of Jay Mitchell, who got into sight with, or actually it was Summit, who got into sight, and Summit just wreaked havoc with that AK, got multiple frags. And again, we see Summit as the top fragger for the T squad of Area 51. Top fragger for the CTs is actually Professor Chaos, sitting at 23 and 14. Mask not too far behind, though, 20 and 14. So both of them are playing great. But yeah, again, Summit has shown up. I know I've been made fun of for defending Summit because of the fact that he's on this roster and he's playing well. But the reality is he's top fragging for the team, and he's had a couple great plays, even though he might have some game awareness issues, like we saw him TK or actually do team damage in the pistol round. He still seems to be doing a decent job for the lineup, so maybe not as controversial a pickup as we may have thought.
Yeah, agreed. And one thing to note is I do believe he was top fragging 2 of the Paradox maps as well there. So moving into the A site, we do see Arya getting the first frag onto Mask. We'll get an AK or an AWP for his effort, as we see Professor Chaos getting one, Valen's getting one, Summit the last one on the field now, as we do see a quick string of frags going in the favor of Exile. Summit in a 1v3 now from A main. They've covered the bomb completely, and Rush, he's not going to miss that shot from Truck, as that's going to be Exile picking up round number 12. And this is a slugfest going back and forth, but I do believe Area 51, they will be on the save on this round.
Yeah, based on their economy, Summit could probably drop a couple of Tech 9s. They could pick up armor. Instead, Summit buys dualies. So, there's that.
What? I don't understand that at all.
I don't either.
Even, like, the Tech 9 is just so much better at spamming than, the fire... I don't understand. But regardless, he is going to be going for that buy, and they're going to be working the A site here.
And here they come, pushing out the squeaky door. Right now, there's only one in sight. That's Mask. Mask with the AK able to get one. Here comes the support from Valens. Mask is going to get dropped by Irakanji, and Summit TKs Irakanji with those dualies.
Oh, man.
Valens is able to get 2 more, and that is an easy round win for Exile, giving them the round lead yet again, 13-12. So let me check the score here. That's the first time they've had the lead in a while.
I'm so surprised that Summit would pick that up. He's got to know how overpowered the Tech 9 is, and for $500, just go with the Tech 9 and let it roll. Like, we've seen so many clutches in situations that should never be clutchable purely because of that weapon and just how crazy it can be. You can hit headshots from, quite honestly, it's not that difficult to hit some crazy headshots with it, even when you are spamming the gun. So we are going to see Exile here. They're pushing through Squeaky Door. We got Valens on the flank, and that's going to be a key player to watch out for, as we do see Miniker is up boosted. If Valens makes it all the way here, that's going to be a freebie on Miniker, but the question is, does he take the frag, or does he continue to try and find players? Oh, Miniker drops right when he showed up behind, so not as effective now, but Mask will be able to stop some aggression near short. That's going to give him more time to work the flank, as now Valens coming up behind Miniker, gets a freebie onto Miniker. Now they do know his location. They're going to come out hunting for him, but 5v3 situation and players on all angles. This is just very stressful as a T-side player, as we do see Arya taking significant damage. Will go down. Summit in a 1v5 with an AWP. We'll see if he can make anything happen here, as Valens trying to put some damage onto him. Will fall back, though, as he's got 7 HP.
Yeah, and Summit here, oh man, my voice with a little bit of a crack there. Probably a little worn out from the... I've now been casting since 3 o'clock this afternoon. Nonetheless, Summit with the AWP is going to get one. That's Valens. Professor Chaos comes in and trades him out. So another good round on the board for Exile. And Area 51, another eco. So they're going to be potentially looking at 15-12 unless they choose to force buy here. They could try and get some pistol armor play and try and prevent the overtime or the tie. But it doesn't look like they're going to do that. They're going to play for overtime, which is smart. I see a lot of teams getting a little too overzealous, I guess would be a good word for it. They think, well, we'll buy up here, and if we win, then we don't have to worry about overtime. But then they lose the round. Then they're broke in the coming round as well, and they lose the map. So a smart play from Area 51, opting not to go for some silly force buy and trying to play for overtime at this point. Mask is going to get one, gets 2. Jay Mitchell and Arya. Valens coming in to help, takes down Miniker. Mask gets dropped by Summit, who gets taken down by Valens. Last man standing is Irakanji with the bomb over on B, and Rush is wise to the fact. He goes for the one-tap and somehow misses, but the spray does connect. Irakanji is taken down, so no bomb plant, only 1 kill on the round, and that's 15-12 in favor of Exile. A much closer game on cash. than I would have predicted.
Yeah, this is definitely going in the favor of Exile. Is now on 15 rounds. We see a full AK buy, full nade set from the T side. But is it going to be enough? As they're now playing for overtime, map number 1 almost to a close here. We'll see if they can make it happen in Team Exile. Again, one of the kind of downsides that we've seen with some of the North American teams is closing out matches, kind of going back a little bit relaxed, but we do see a complete mid-stack. Well, not complete. They've got 3 players there from the CT side. Mask, she's going to be contested as taking the A site is the T side, and they only had Mask there playing from Forklift, and now they're going to have to retake this as Professor Chaos will send that nade sailing in, takes only 2 damage away from Summit, but a 3v5 retake here for the Exile lineup.
Yeah, and they haven't really won enough rounds on the Area 51 side to really afford losing guns, so Exile is probably just trying to do some economic damage right here. Valens just flashes through. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. If this
oh my
works.
god.
Oh
He's
my
got
god.
it. He's got
oh
it.
My god.
He's got it.
What? That just happened. A 5-up ninja
kidding
defuse
me?
from Valens. That is the most insane play I have ever seen. What just happened?
I just looked at the radar and how close all 5 of those players on the T side were. That is just the most insane play I have ever seen. How did he even get in there? Did he just flash his way through smoke and jump on it?
He flashed in and just went right for the defuse. I can't even believe that just
I can't
happened.
believe my eyes.
I
can't believe my eyes.
I'm sweating. That's so insane.
Oh my god, what a way to close that match. And Area 51 right now, they were fighting for overtime. They're hoping to get a couple rounds, and that was looking beautiful. 5v1, easy, let's get this, guys. And then the defuse. They are going to not feel good about that. So moving into Dust2 here, definitely a momentum advantage for Team Exile, and they've looked really strong on this map. So guys, we're going to take a very, very short break, but when we return, map number 2 in the Area 51 versus Exile series, you don't want to miss it. All right, guys, we are back. What a way to end map number 1. I've never, maybe in MM I've seen a ninja defuse like that, but hardly even that. That was a godly defuse from Valens. Regardless, we're here in map number 2. I am Sprawl. By my side is Bach. And again, we're in map number 2 of this best of 3 RGN New Year's Open. This is the round of 8, and already taking long quickly is the Area 51 lineup. They've got 4 of the T's moving across, now crossed long. They're going to be moving up to the A site here. Mask playing in a very sneaky position from quad box. Let's see if she can make it happen, as no, that's going to be Miniker putting her down early, now in a 4v4 situation, as 3 of the CTs trying to push up from Cat. And this is just an awkward situation if I've ever seen one, as now Rush will take down one of them. Miniker fires back, gets 2. Summit will get 1 as well. Automatic in a 1v3 goes down, and Area 51 needed that pistol round so bad after the way we saw that first map end.
They mounted one of the more impressive comebacks I've seen from a roster recently. They were down 7 rounds, ended up winning, I think it was 12 straight. Or 11 straight at least. They won a lot of rounds in a row. Unfortunately, with 5 players up in the A bomb site facing elimination there, 15 rounds in favor of Exile, and they somehow let Valens get that crazy ninja defuse. And it looks like Exile has started off with some nutty plays yet again. Automatic getting a crazy wallbang shot on Irakanji, and Arya 52 taken down. So a nice start here in the eco from Exile, but I'm still like blown away by how that just happened. A 1 versus 5 ninja defuse in a match of this caliber. It's not, like you said, it's not matchmaking. You can see it happening matchmaking. This is a legitimate match between 2 legitimate teams.
Yeah, it's very rare, and usually there's more of a smoke involved if there is going to be a ninja or something. He was in blind plain sight there as he got that. So Rush, disgusting, gets a nice jumping scout shot, gets put down though by Jay Mitchell. Jay Mitchell and Summit in a 2v4 where they won the pistol round. Momentum about to fling in the other direction if Exile can pick up this round. Professor Chaos from sight trying to get that jumping shot, will attempt to get it once, but now falls back as he did take a number of bullets. He's down to 48 HP. So just playing the time, Jay Mitchell gets a key frag, and now they've opened up the map a little bit more. Mask playing right at the boost spot here, slowly moving up his summited Jay Mitchell. They're dropping a smoke grenade. They're going to be able to at least afford to cross here as a flashbang does go out. Mask is going to be, I imagine, fully blind from that flash. No, not quite, as again, Jay Mitchell is long. Mask trying to decide if she wants to push through the smoke. The bomb is being planted. This has to happen, as now pushing through the smoke, Jay Mitchell only on 19 HP. We'll see if they can retake here as Summit. He's alive on site. Ooh. Gets the frag. Valens with a P90, though. This should be easy for him, as again, Summit on 13 HP. Can Summit make it happen? This would be so key. But Valens with the jumping pro 90. It's not going to be the case. And Exile, they're going to pick up round number 2 here. Again, we figured they were going to be strong on this Dust2 map. And that's basically proving it, getting some 6 shots. Automatic with that shot through the door on an Irakanji was disgusting. That was some amazing play from Exile, and they're benefiting for it.
Yeah, that clutch from Valens wasn't necessarily as nice as the last one, but still a good play, and he had the perfect gun. Obviously, he didn't buy that gun. He found it on the body, I think, of Irakanji in mid. So the perfect gun for that retake. Both players very well lit, and all you have to do is hold down the trigger and run. And it looks like Area 51 is going to be stacking up for a B play here. Irakanji, the first man out, not able to get the frag, does take down Valens. Valens is going to get 2 there, and Miniker gets a kill on Summit. That's the second time this game we've seen Miniker come in with a team kill. Valens gets 1 more. That's a 3K. Professor Chaos getting 1, but Miniker, what is going on, buddy?
Dude, they're going to create a rule in the Area 51 lineup that you're allowed to deagle, but only if you're in front of people, Miniker. Because clearly, when you're behind and they're rushing, you can't just run and spam that thing. It's going to be shooting bullets all over the place, and I don't think that that's exactly what he was doing. But he did team kill one of his buddies, and that's not so good when you're rushing a site, that's for sure. Especially when Valens, he was taken down to 15 HP there. If that didn't happen, they had a couple players to maybe take a weapon away. but not going to be the case, as we do see a long play stacked on A, though. Exile, they're counter-stratting this to a T, as nades coming out, and again, they can kind of assume that they're not going to go for that same B play once again, but Summit and Arya, they're going to get some key frames. Summit getting another one. This is why you buy a Tech 9 Summit and not dualies. You are hitting shots right now. Jay Mitchell gets one as well. Valens now in a 1v3. He does have a kit, but now wondering, should I save here? Do I go for it? It does look like he's going to be creeping forward. He is going to be going for it. So flashbang in hand. No, he's not. Valens, come on, buddy. No, he's going to be saving that, and quite honestly, that's not a bad save, as he does have an M4. He's got a CZ75, which potentially you could probably drop that to a teammate if they don't end up full buying across. I think with the amount of money they're sitting on, though, they should have enough from this loss bonus to get a buy in this next round.
Yeah, they're going to have enough money to buy. He could drop that for the light player, which is Mask. Mask sitting at 2550. She wouldn't really be able to buy an M4 in armor, so he'll drop his gun, pick up M4 armor, or M4 for himself. Everyone else on the team able to buy. Going to be a light nade buy, if any. It'll be interesting to see how they play this. Sometimes teams will look at their money and they'll say, you know, maybe it's not really worth it. We should just play for round 6. But that's the second eco round we've seen, and we're only in round number 5. The eco round win from Exile, obviously, coming in round number 2, and then Area 51 wins round number 4 in an eco. I think that's gonna be how this map plays out. It's Dust2. These teams are all very good at aiming. It's just gonna be like, who's gonna get the shots? Is it gonna be Exile or is it gonna be Area 51? And I think at this point in time, it's kind of a coin toss.
Yeah, mid-control here for Area 51. We have guns on both sides. So something we haven't quite seen so far, as now we are going to see Valens just flashing out, trying to prevent the mid to B, but we do see that 3Ts, they're kind of stuck behind the doors. They are smoked out right now, and working very slow is the T-side lineup. Miniker, he's going to be peeking from top upper tunnels, misses a very key shot onto Valens, and he was jumping up onto the platform there. Again, those are ones you cannot afford to miss, as now the information is known. Miniker holding upper dark. Valens going to peek once again. Ooh, thinking about it. They're trying to get a double peek in. Cute play from the Exile lineup. That's automatic, and Valens trying to make that happen, but it is a mid to B here as Valens goes down immediately. Automatic going to have to go huge here. Gets one frag. Gets put down by Jay Mitchell, though, and coming through the smoke, that's going to be rushed in the CG spawn. Irokanji eventually gets the spray down, as now Professor Chaos, Mask, last two alive. Mask will be able to collect a frag onto Irokanji, but forced to save here outside of long A, as it will be another round for the Area 51 team.
And there's that very popular strat, the mid to B. Kind of the set strategy for matchmaking or pug teams everywhere. And since Area 51 is pretty fresh with this roster, they haven't been around for too long, it doesn't surprise me to see them run that strategy. What surprised me that Exile wasn't ready for it. Mask trying to hold on to that AWP, isn't going to be able to. Jay Mitchell takes her down. So that's now 3-2 in favor of Area 51 on the T side of Dust2. They need to just start chaining rounds together, and unfortunately it looks like we're coming into a pause as we have lost a player. That's Irokanji down, so we're going to have to take a slight break here while we wait for Irokanji to reconnect. Not sure how long it's going to be. Oh, he's already back in. So just like that, Irokanji reconnects. Not sure what happened, but he's back in the game. So pause already undone, and we're going to be going into round number 6 with Exile sitting on an eco.
Yeah, we'll see how much they can get done, as we did see them convert an eco early on that second round with scouts and such. It doesn't look like they're going to be picking up any scouts here, so not going to be too much equipment on their side. 5.7s on 2 of their players, P250s on the rest. It's going to be a quick fast cat here as Rush coming around the corner, gets a beautiful shot onto Jay Mitchell. Irokanji fires back, gets one. Can he get a second here, as Mask will get put down to 32 HP, but retreats, as they've done some damage. They just want to fall back. So Valens kind of the nearest to contest here now, as he's right on the other side of mid double doors. He's got Summit on the other side of Xbox, just waiting patiently, as they are just going to be working very slow. Again, very important on these anti-eco rounds that you don't go around corners too quickly, looking in the wrong directions, as Irokanji gets 2 frags, and that's what I mean. They had 2 players kind of stacked up peeking cat. They had to peek that correctly, and they did so, and now Professor Chaos, last one alive on A site. He suspects they might be coming from long. Not the case, though. Miniker doesn't check Goose. Unfortunately for Professor Chaos, he's not going to get anything for his effort, so now 1v4 here. Valens, last one on the field.
A little confused how Professor Chaos didn't get the frag there. His shots looked on to me. Maybe just a little too erratic with his spray. Here comes a nade out mid from area. Not deep enough to reach through the doors. Valens sitting right on the other side, and they're probably going to peek him here and gun him down. He does get taken down by Irakanji. That's a 4K from Irakanji, so maybe he was restarting to turn on his hacks. Nonetheless, a good round from him. And that puts Area 51 up 4-2. We're going to see the buy, though, from Exile, so maybe they'll have something here for us in round number 7. Right now, Area 51 is looking pretty good. The double off setup is probably going to work out nicely here because the T side of Dust, really easy to pick. CT side, not so much.
Yeah, heading up quickly here, Jay Mitchell and Irakanji coming up to the Xbox, and it does look like they might put some aggression on early as you see Valens on the other side of this door. They're going to be working a stack as automatic, just hanging out on top of his head. We'll see if they can get any frags for their effort as Irakanji boosting up. That's exactly what they were hoping for, and now they're going to fall back. But no, not quickly enough as Jay Mitchell does punish them. Fires right through. He was standing at Xbox just pre-firing through the smoke, and he was able to get that frag. So 3v4 situation now as mid-control still for the T's. And my phone goes off. Awesome. Yeah, everybody, just 12,000 people just checked their Android device. Yep, I just went there. No iPhones.
We are going to see Arya getting dropped by Mask over in B tunnels, upper dark, so that's an op out of the hands. That's huge because he is so far away that even if Area 51 wins this round, they're not getting that op back. Unfortunately, Professor Chaos gets dropped, so Mask is going to pick that up and try and save it. I almost wish she would throw it away, to be perfectly honest, and prevent Area 51 from getting it, but they have more than enough money to buy one anyway, so if she can hold on to this, that's huge for her team. And we're going to see probably Miniker. Maybe Miniker will go down towards lower dark and try to pick. No, he's fallen back towards the site, so it looks like they're perfectly content giving her that op. She's just going to sit in lower dark and hold that corner. T's are pushing out towards long, and ever carefully, as the 7-man is checking doors like crazy. That's Jay Mitchell. They're all going to fall into pit here. So Mask going to get to save that op for round number 8. But Exile really, really needs to start winning some rounds here. They can't let Area 51 build up momentum. We saw what happened on the last map. They took 7 rounds in a row on T side. That was Exile. Then Area 51 came back and won 11 rounds straight. This team is not as bad as people like to say they are. The aim power and fragging capability of Area 51 can really catch you off guard, and they can chain rounds together like crazy, and eco rounds are just so easy for them. It's like fish in a barrel, so they have to be careful here not to give these rounds up too easily.
Yeah, and slowly inching into the B site here, we see Arya just peeking at window. From our perspective, though, we do see that none of the CTs inside of that site. Automatic boosted up once again. Might be able to get this frag onto Jay Mitchell. Sees the top of his head, but can't land the shot. As now Jay Mitchell will know that there's another player, but Valens peeks out and gets a disgusting headshot, as now the bomb is being planted inside of B. None of the CTs are aware of this. Now they are, as they do hear the bomb has been planted, but it is going to be a retake scenario. I imagine Mask might just, yeah, they're just going to save these rifles. Not a bad idea, as even with 4 players alive, trying to retake that site would be difficult. But Arya and Irakanji taking down players, and now Valens in a 1v4. He does have that AK-47, but that AWP, quite honestly, was the weapon they needed to save.
Yeah, and Valens obviously doing a decent job in mid there. Getting that 1 kill, but with the AK here, he's going to get bum rushed. We'll see if he can get another one. Gets a nice shot on the Summit, but Miniker with the deagle, since Summit was dead, not able to kill him. So no team kill for Miniker that round. He does pick up the kill. So that's going to put Area 51 up 6-2. Poor Miniker, indeed. Apparently, I've been told that Miniker is apparently a male model. I don't know if I'm being trolled or if that's true.
Yeah, this is apparently true. There's some photos that you can see. He apparently was the poster boy for the Manajuma lineup. They have some funny photos out there if you would like to Google. As Miniker hears us, ears are burning, hits a beautiful shot through double doors onto Valens. And this is a rifle round, so Exile losing that player early on, that really does hurt them, as now they do have 2 AWPs on the field, one on Professor Chaos, one on Automatic, as Automatic actually seems to think that there might be someone pushed into the B site, and you would be correct, as Arya now smoking off the window. This does look like it's a bit of a bait, though, as the bomb is still out mid.
Yeah, and they sort of force bought here on Exile. They have armor across the board, but only head armor on Mask. A little bit of force up. We'll see if that backfires at all.
You see Automatics peeking into the B site. They've got 2 players in Kanji. He's going to be peeking in Summit right behind him. But again, Arya's still here, and Jay Mitchell was able to collect a frag on the other side here, I do believe. Yeah, he was over towards Cat as, again, the B site has been taken. And 3 players up for the CTs, and they're just going to be heading back to save their guns. It does look like, as Automatic now at Xbox might be able to get this frag, and he does get that one onto Jay Mitchell. Gets fired back, though. Miniker, how did I not realize he's still in T-spawn? And now Mask coming quickly around this corner will be able to get that frag, and getting that one means only an AWP on Arya.
And it also means another one saved for Exile if Professor Chaos hits his shot, which he does. So that's another gun out of the hands of Area 51. They're very well off in their economy. Oh my gosh, Area's going to get dropped as well. So, but look at their money: 14K on Summit, 14K on Miniker, 13.9 on Jay Mitchell, 13.7 on Irakanji. They are stacked to the gills with cash. Area 52, the only one with not much money. So Arya's going to need a drop here, but they have more than enough money to buy for the foreseeable future. I'd say probably like 3 rounds they could lose in a row before they're going to be on eco. So maybe Exile can start chaining some rounds together. They really, really need to, because 7 rounds on T side is good if you're at the end of the round, if you're at the end of the half. But right now they have 7, and we're only coming into round number 10. You can't lose this many this fast. We do see Professor Chaos, though, starting things out nicely with the help of Rush. That's Jay Mitchell and Summit down. Arya with a wonderful headshot on Professor Chaos. That's going to be an AWP out of the hands of the CTs, and they're going to fall back out from long and head towards mid, where the 6-man is already pushing out. That's Irakanji. And Irakanji could potentially catch this man in CT spawn off guard. Valens is right around the bend. Valens with a nice flash. Not able to get the frag. Finally finishing off Irakanji. A nice flash from him. Great awareness from that CT in CT spawn, which was Valens, the 4-man. And it's down to 2, Arya and Megaserver. So this could be the first round in a while for Exile if they can start hitting their shots. Valens is going to get taken down by Arya, though, so that's a 2K for him. Makes it a 3 versus 2, and they're going to slowly work their way up Cat. And Rush has to come up big here. He can't allow them to get a frag. Making it a 2 versus 2 would be devastating. Miniker with that AWP holding the corner. He's just waiting for the peek. And Rush spots him out. He knows better than to re-peek. Rush is a great player, knows more than enough about this map to know that Megaserver, aka Miniker, is just waiting for him. The flash comes out, and he dinks Miniker down to 10 HP. Finally punishes him off. Arya, the last man standing, taken down by Mask. So finally, Exile able to find a round. That's the first one since round number 3. And that's going to make the score 7-3. So Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yeah, that's what I concluded, to be honest. So we are going to see 7-3 like you had stated. Round number 11 here. As we do see a lot of money still on the T side. So we got 10K on Summit, 5,900 on Jay Mitchell, 5,700 on Irakanji. Then Miniker and Arya, they are broke. But that is a significant amount of money on the T side. They're going to be able to buy probably next round, even if they lose this one. Getting that bomb down would be great for them, though. And obviously they want to continue to break the economy of Exile. Exile on a full buy here, obviously winning that last round. They're able to equip fairly well, but those nades were perfectly coordinated. Almost took down Mask. Very, very close, as on 19 HP here. She's going to re-smoke, but the bomb is going to be heading out tunnels as they're working a mid to B, and losing Automatic means that that site is completely up for grabs. Rush tries to boost up over CT, but isn't going to work out as tried to get a little peeky over the smoke. And we're going to have Arya dropping Mask as well now. Professor Chaos 1v5. He desperately wants to save this AWP, as they are most definitely going to be broke going into this next round. Ooh, but Jay Mitchell says nope, that's not going to be the case.
I'm really confused as to what's happening with Exile here. They're really falling apart on Dust2. They don't want to give Area 51 this map, obviously, but the next map is Overpass, and Area 51 lost to Paradox on Overpass. Paradox not necessarily on the same level as Area 51, so I would say that if this goes to Overpass, Area 51 has got to be scared. So they're trying to send a message right now to Exile that they mean business, potentially set a tempo that will carry over into the next map, and they're just playing lights out right now. If they can finish this game and make it like 16-3, that would really help them when the map switches over to Overpass, because they really, really need to carry over some momentum. Maybe demoralize Exile just enough to affect their play on Overpass. But again, they just played it so poorly the last time we watched them play that I don't know if it's really going to work out for them. We do see Automatic getting a kill onto Arya, and the clock is ticking away here. Already a minute down, and no decision really made from the T's on where they're going to go. There's 4 stacked up in mid, so it looks like it's going to be that mid to B play, but there's 2 on the CT side. They're Automatic and Valens just holding that close angle on the door. They're going to peek him this time, and he's going to get taken down. Automatic sitting on the other side of the smoke, not able to get the frag. That's huge. And now the push is on. Rush is going to try and spot some out, and he's opting not to go for the spam through the smoke, and they're just waiting on the other side. Meanwhile, Professor Chaos and Window does get taken down, so it's a 2 versus 4 retake. Rush and Mask, the last 2 standing, and I think they're going to opt to stay their guns as they are very broke. $0 on both of them. And they have armor on Mask, full armor on Mask, and body armor on Rush. Defuse on Rush as well. So pretty big if they can hold on to these guns. But you know that the T side is going to go hunting. They have more than enough money to lose a couple AKs.
Yeah, and here they come. It's Jay Mitchell and Iru Kanji as they're going to be heading towards Long A pit. Again, Rush saving its side of the pit there. Definitely wants to utilize this weapon as he will peek out. Gets a beautiful headshot, but Jay Mitchell putting him down shortly after. Mask peeking out of the long doors. We'll get that frag. Midaker will go down as well. So, again, plenty of money on Area 51 side. They're not too worried. And quite honestly, they're probably happy that they at least got to strip away that FAMAS from Rush.
Yeah, I'm sure they're thrilled about that. Mask was not able to pick up the AWP either, so I mean, only keeping the M4 is big, but nice play from Mask there, cleaning up a couple of frags at the end of the round, trying to do what you can to hurt the economy, but down 9-3. At this point, they're not really looking so hot. They need to win out. They cannot afford to drop any more rounds. They need to take this 9-6 at least, and Arya says not going to let that happen. Drops 2 who pushed Fastcat. That was Professor Cat and Mask. Valens, meanwhile, trades one out over in B. That's Irakanji, but Summit takes him down, so the B push is on. The 2-man is going to jump into window. That is Automatic. Rush is going to get one over on the A bomb site. That's Area 52 down. And Automatic is getting lit up with nades. He's got a CZ. Rush with an AK coming in on the support. So a potential retake here from the CT side. If they can at least get a couple frags, Summit down to 1 HP. Could be an easy frag, and they miss the off shot here. Automatic's going to get in, take that man down in the backside. That's Summit. So look at that. They were so close to taking it. Only 15 HP left between the 2 terrorists, but that's going to be another round in favor of Area 51, making it 10-3. And at this point, things have sort of gone off the rails for Exile, as they're going to be on yet another eco. And I just don't really see how this is going to end nicely for Exile. I really think we're going to be going to map number 3 at this point.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one. Exile did show that they have a fairly strong T side, but I don't know if it's strong enough to get them out of the situation that they've... Not to say they put themselves in it, but Area 51 have been working this T side fairly well. So thus far we do see we're going to have Professor Chaos and Automatic. They're flashing their way into Upper Dark as Irokanji, he's going to be aware of this? Yeah, he is going to know, but Professor Chaos takes him out, and now Arya from mid-box. Going to see if he can get some key frags. He does get 2. Can he get a 3rd one? As they're trying to force the issue here. The rest of the terrorists taking long, though, heading on to the A site, as Mask will be able to finally take down Arya. 2v3 now. And I do believe we're just going to see the CTs go for it. They need every round they can get. They can't afford to just fall back and save their weapons, but Summit, with a beautiful Pokeball, will be able to get that first frag. Now Mask in a 1v4, or 1v3 rather. She is going to opt to save as she's heading toward Lower Dark here.
Yeah, and you can't really fault Exile for having a tough time against this roster. These guys are very talented players. Plenty of experience between all of them. Multiple years of experience in 1.6 and CSGO. At this point, you kind of just wash your hands of it and move on to the next map. Get this map out of your mind. You try and do as much as you can, but you got to start thinking, okay, we're down 11-3. Don't get ahead of ourselves and get frustrated. We can maybe come back, but if it's not there, we'll just start thinking about Overpass. How are we going to play Overpass? How are we going to knife strat Overpass to get the CT side? How are we going to lock it down so that Area 51 cannot get anything more than 3 rounds on the T side, and we can just win that game, take it 2-1 over Area 51. So 2-1 might happen after all, even though I thought this map would have gone to Exile.
Yeah, Exile definitely wants this last round. Get that 4th one in. This map's kind of, how many can we get here before the end of this map again? Probably Looking forward to Overpass, but not out of it quite yet is Area 51. Again, one thing we've seen in the past is NA teams not really finishing their matches. They gain that huge lead, and then they aren't able to close. So we'll see if that does affect Area 51 as they're trying to close out this match. Professor Chaos only gets one as they push out long, and now that area of real estate is in control of Area 51. Mask on the other side of the smoke will get blinded momentarily. But she is still here as Summit dropping at a pit gets dropped by Rush. 2 players still alive. Arya getting Mask. 2v3 situation now as we do see Rush goes down as well out long. Automatic in a 1v3. He's going to peek out mid. Sees Miniker. He's going to try and get this frag here. Sends that grenade in. Drops him to 83 as trying to take this duel. But Miniker inevitably will win that, as he is hitting his op shots right now. Maybe missed 1 or 2, but that will be eventually his frag, and a half that Area 51, they probably couldn't have wished for a better half there.
Coming off of that loss on Cash, the way they lost in that final round, they needed to start this off strong, and they have. 12-3 from the T side, that's really strong. People will tell you that Dust2 is T-sided. I don't necessarily agree. I think it's swung back to the CT side once they changed the doors in mid, because the picks in mid not as easy as they used to be when you could wallbang someone for like 90 damage through doors. Still though, Area 51, I mean, they're moving on to the favorable CT side here on Dust2. They're up 9 rounds. If they win pistol, that could be it for Exile. Anyway, guys, we want to make a big announcement. We have just launched our new website. So I don't know if you have anything you'd like to say about it, Sprawl. It's pretty awesome. We got news and forums. There's a section for streams. You can check out information about us as casters, the management, all of the people who work for RGN. So that's gorgn.tv. We just launched it. Sprawl, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, we actually have a little bit of stuff below our channel that's new as well, and you can find links to our website there. We are going to be announcing a large giveaway, and I mean large. Well, it's gonna be awesome. Just make sure you check that out. Instructions on how to get in on that giveaway. It's going to be launched tomorrow, again, on our website. So make sure you guys check that out. Again, you can find information about myself, other people that work for RGN, and we're hoping to keep that up to date, and that'll be your one-stop shop for anything for RGN purposes. So we are live here in pistol round number 2. As actually, I do have one more thing to say. I'm sorry, guys. We reached the 40K follower mark, so we're doing a Minimaware P250 Franklin giveaway and a Minimaware P2000 Quarter Sarah giveaway after this best of 3. So that's for all followers, anybody that's watching the channel, not subs, just followers. So guys, make sure you stick around for that. But we are going to see a mid to B here from the Exile lineup, as they don't have any smokes for the... Oh, I lied. I totally lied. They do have smokes for this, but Irokanji, he's going to put one down eventually. All the frags do go in the favor of the T's, as now Jay Mitchell and Arya rotating through CT spawn. They're going to have to push through the smoke if they want to force the issue. Jay Mitchell does. He's going to try and catch Valens out of position, tries to peek in the lower, and they are going to exchange bullets, but no one dead yet. Finally, Valens gets the frag. Arya tries to peek in window, but Automatic will be able to take him out, and Exile is off to a good start on their T side.
Yeah, and you know, at this point, you have to look at reality. Area 51, obviously there's talent on the roster. A lot of these players are 1.6 players. Irokanji, multiple years of invite experience in 1.6. Miniker has 1.6 experience in invite as well, as does Arya. Jay Mitchell had, you know, a lot of years of experience in main. Summit had some in IM in main, I think a little bit as well. These players have been playing this map for a long, long time. Now, I'm not saying that's not the case for the Exile roster, but they picked this map for a reason. So even though you're down 12-4, you got to realize that they knew they were going to do strong on this map. So you can't necessarily hang your head low. You kind of got to just roll with the punches. Exile starting out strong, taking the pistol round. If they can chain some rounds together, maybe mount a comeback. But I'd be happy if I was on Exile if I just made this a close game. Getting shut down like 16 or 7 and lower, brutal. But if they can make this like 16-10, not so bad. We do see them opting for an A play right now. Professor Chaos already down to 9 HP, Rush at 29. Irokanji's going to get a scout kill on the Automatic. Valens is going to take down Arya though, and Professor Chaos connects onto Jay Mitchell, who just could not find the shot from Cat. There's a man going for the jump shot, and that was that? No, Matt Miniker was on Cat. Irokanji's going for the jump shot with the scout, not able to find it. Rush takes down Miniker, and Irokanji still with that scout there, going for the jump peak. They're finally had enough. Rush pushes in, takes him down. Last man standing to Summit. Another round on the board for Exile, almost more costly than it could have been. or should have been for that matter. Two do go down, but they could have lost two other players as they were both heavily lit. So that's 12-5 now. Exile starting to build some rounds together. If they can maybe win the first full buy against Area 51, they stand a chance.
And we'll see if they can make anything more happen here as moving into round number 18. We do see two of the Terrors heading towards Upper Dark. And Professor Chaos peeking out long already. So they're just trying to see where the push might occur, as this is another anti-eco round, but they don't realize as Jay Mitchell will push up Rush, getting the shots though, as Arya will be able to take down one. So that will be a pick in their favor, but a 3v4 situation, not exactly optimal, as now Irokanji pushed out mid, gets dropped by Automatic. That was from mid Xbox there. So taking long are the Terrorists against Miniker. He's got a Deagle in hand. We'll see if he can make it work for him, but no, Rush will take him down. Took one bullet, but that aim punch is fairly strong, as now 1v4 situation. Arya looks to be saving the Scout.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's really even worth it, honestly. He is kind of low on money, 1,700. So I guess saving it makes a bit of sense. He's going to go for some frags here. Automatic on the push. Could get dropped here. He's right on the other side of the door. But that does not happen. They do get the kill. So blind. And another round for Exile. 6-12. Cutting that lead to 6 rounds. But this is going to be the first buy up from Area 51. This is the round that really spells out what's going to happen here. If they can take this, they're starting to set that pace. Exile definitely has a good T-side on Dust2. But Area 51 probably has as good T-side as they did at T-side, so you really just gotta... It's a battle of the wills right now. If Exile can push themselves to a point where they can take this, they could potentially win. I think at best, though, we're gonna see overtime. I don't think Exile is in a situation where they're coming out with the W. Maybe we'll see a tie game. That would be awesome if we did. I would love to see overtime. I don't even know who would take it if it gets to that point.
Yeah, we'll find out if they can bring it back here as Exile. They do have mid control. Irokanji close on the other side of double doors. So we'll see if he can make anything happen, as he's just waiting for some action to occur. And they are going to be heading out of mid double doors, but Irokanji gets next to nothing done. He did take down Professor Chaos to 33 HP, but the mid-to-B strat is real here, as Arya, only one in sight, will be able to take down Mask. Tries to get a second one, will get it as well. But finally, they take control of site, and in a very awkward position here, Summit actually will fire his way out of that awkward position, as Valen's trying to hold from Catwalk, hoping to get some players on the rotate, but isn't going to work out. And now, in a 2v2 situation, Rush trying to peek out as well, and I'm not sure why, as Summit's going to mess up his flash. That's actually very important, as now two not blinded. All Terrorists are going to have absolutely no problem getting those frags. And that's just something very, very small, but it is very key, as that flashbang was intended to bounce off the ramp and flash exactly over top of the player who's right underneath Window's head. So that didn't work out, and heading into that site without any kind of grenades to help out any utility is definitely difficult to take.
Absolutely. You know, if you can't hit that smoke, don't even bother throwing it. There's two you can throw. There's one you can bounce off the little grass patch to the right of the window, and there's one you can throw right off the hill leading up to the site. Meanwhile, look at Area 51 here, getting aggressive in B tunnels. Irokanji and Arya. Arya gets dropped, but Irokanji gets the kill. That's going to be an AK in their hands. He's going to get traded out quickly, though, so the AK is already gone. Professor Chaos with the kill. Automatic drop in Jay Mitchell. So it's now down to Summit and Miniker. Miniker with that Deagle. Hopefully Summit dies before Miniker, so Miniker can get some frags with that thing. Otherwise, we could see some more TKs from Miniker. Been pretty, having a rough night with that Deagle thus far. Summit does go down to Valens. Miniker on Cat. With the Deagle, will he find one? Gonna peek around the corner. Goes for the one Deag. Not able to find it. Down to 9 HP. Valens down to 31. Valens does polish him off. Mask had a nade waiting, so it was just a matter of time either way. So that's 8-12 now in favor of Area 51. Their only lead, though, their lead is only 4 rounds. It's really thinning out. They were up 12-3 at half. Exile has won 5 in a row. So a good T-side so far from Exile, but they need to keep their gas pedal fully pressed to the floor, or they're going to give Area 51 too much, and it could just get into that match point range. So we were saying that maybe 16-10 would be good for Exile to take. Right now, it looks like they might be able to mount a comeback.
Yeah, and what a way to enter the site. Flashbangs galore, and although they were smoked out, they have complete control of site now, as Miniker was able to get one. But the site control also important, as they are going to boost up Summit. We'll see if he can get any peeks in here, as he's looking directly under window. Rush and Valens directly to his left, and he's going to be peeking over. Still hasn't spotted a single head here, and I fear for when he decides to drop Rush, going to be directly on that other side, as they do hear them stomping around. But the CT lineup is falling back and giving another round to Exile, and Exile is able to get every single round in this half so far. Area 51 hasn't posed a threat at all, pretty much. They've gotten some frags, but every time they go and take the site, we're seeing plays like this where they are saving weapons. Again, that's great, you're coming into the next round, but you showed no kind of defense that proves that you can take a CT side round, as again, 6 on the board in a row for Exile.
I don't think that was the worst idea. They were at a position there where if they ran in, they were running into a heavily set up crossfire. They knew exactly what they were facing against. They were going to lose more rifles, then potentially come into an eco. Instead, they keep some rifles on the board. And if they can take a round or two in a row here, then they break Exile's economy, and they could be up 14-9 facing an eco. But right now, I don't see how that's going to happen. Exile has played really strong so far, 6 rounds in a row for their T side. Area 51 is going to have to change something up if they want to win this map.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that the save, not a bad idea, but the problem is they haven't put up any rounds, and the issue behind that is that they're playing not to lose, and that's not playing to win. It sounds very similar, but it's not. If you're playing to win, you have the confidence to try and breach. Well, again, that site, that's maybe not the best situation to say that they're kind of not playing to win. That was maybe a decent idea, and they are fully equipped here. But in the rounds previous, they just haven't shown what they have, what it takes to steal these CT side rounds. And they're running out of time here. They're really running out of time. And now Exile, they're trying to work catwalk. They have automatic and pit. They do have the positioning on the A site. They've got Jay Mitchell rather, on a quick rotate. He's inside of CT spawn. Irukanji playing from up on site. He's going to get naded down. That was a beautiful one, as he's down to 42 HP. And again, automatic hasn't really shown that he's in pit. And that could be very important, as we do see actually a fake here, as Valens sends that into the A site. We do see Jay Mitchell. He will get one, but firing back here. Miniker eventually gets one as well, as this is the closest we've seen. But that's going to be automatic on the flank, and that's got to be so frustrating, as now 1v3 Arya gonna have to go huge. Gets one frag, as Valens now inside of the site. He's got T's on either side of him, gets the frag, and it's a 1v.
Whoa.
Oh my grenade, Batman. Automatic gets the frag, and that's going to be Exile putting another one on the board. My goodness, Exile is stomping on this T side.
That nade, I don't even know where that nade came from. I caught it,
the heavens,
the tail end of the nade, and it just bounced straight up on Arya's screen. It blew up right in front of his face. That nade hit him so hard, and that is devastating. So Area 51 here able to buy up yet again, because they saved in the previous round, because they got that loss bonus now at full maximum potential. 7 rounds in a row in favor of Exile. Area 51's got to be scratching their heads at this point, because they have yet to find anything that worked. Even though Exile opened up Cat huge. They smoked mid, they smoked CT. Everyone thought mid to B. 2 players A rotated to CT spawn. That opened up A so hard, but they didn't take the Cat push. And then Summit fell back towards ramp. Jay Mitchell started backing out of CT spawn, and then they opted to push back in mid anyway. So it didn't matter. But they had an opening there that they didn't take. That would have been a really big failure if it had not gone their way. But I guess instead they still get the round, so I can't really say much. It was still a pretty nutty round. Summit, though, with a double kill here on long, taking down Valens and Rush. Automatic's going to respond by dropping Irukanji, but a big kill for Summit there, taken down 2. Mask is going to try and even things out, drops Miniker in mid with the AK. Automatic, another for him. That's Summit down. And Arya in the window here's got to do a lot. Arya and Jay Mitchell combining for kills on Mask and Professor Chaos, and it's down to automatic, a 1 versus 2. He's going to hit the headshot onto Jay Mitchell. It's now a 1 versus 1. Arya versus automatic. This is a crucial round here. Arya has to play this perfectly. Oh my gosh, automatic. You cute little bastard. Pushing through the molly there. And it's this 1v1 is getting very interesting. Ari in the back of sight, automatic at 21 HP. Here comes the nade, banking it in. That should do impressive damage. Automatic down to 34 HP now. Automatic gonna flash in, and he's gonna peek the wrong way. Doesn't get the kill. Oh my goodness! Automatic getting the frag.
Are you kidding me?
Lands on Arya's head and just straight up toadstools him, taking the page right from Super Mario Brothers. And that is now 11-12. 1-round lead for Area 51, and wow, what a play from Automatic.
And that was the same 1v1 that we saw before. The exact same 1v1 situation, and Arya has got to be hurting inside that he let that drop 2 in a row as Automatic played that to a T. I'm just so impressed as now coming out long, we're going to see Irukandji get 1, but Valens fires back. Summit going to have to go massive as he does get 1. We do see Valens kind of stuck behind Blue Bin here. He's going to flash his way out. Summit will avoid that as Valens now on 23 HP. Finally gets taken down, and this is a round that, again, I'd like to say it's going to go in Area 51's favor, but we've seen the crazier things happen as now Mask moving up long. If she can take down Summit in a way that she takes minimal damage, this is going to be very important for the rest of the round, but Summit hitting that frag. He has a hat trick there. And he's now on the top of the scoreboard for his team. Not top in frags, but on the scoreboard as Jay Mitchell. He's going to be sitting in that top frag location. Area 51 finally pick up a round on CT side. And they've got to feel good about that as they really were letting Exile run away with things.
Yeah, but look at the economy on their side. They're forcing it kind of here. They got Famas on 2 players, Irukandji and Arya. Meanwhile, Exile is like loaded. Plenty of money across the board. They could run thin if they lose a couple here, but if they take this round, that's an eco from Area 51, hands down. They lose that loss bonus, they're going to be broke. And some people have hypothesized that teams will allow a team to win. I know we've talked about it before, to break their loss bonus. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but Exile, they could afford to lose one there after winning so many in a row because they know that it breaks Area 51's economy. And we are going to see the mid to B play right now. Automatic gets 1, Professor Chaos gets another. Arya in the window is able to drop Automatic, but here comes the push. Rush able to find Irukandji. Last man standing is Jay Mitchell. Gonna drop Valens on Cat. Make it a 1 versus 3, but I kind of wonder if he's just going to save this gun because they can't lose it. They're coming into an eco. 850 left in his bank account, so to speak. He's not going to be able to buy much, and the rest of the team is going to be equally broke. Arya might be able to force up and get something. He's at 2K. So they could potentially put a split buy together and try and stop things here, but it's going to be probably 13-12. Exile facing an eco, maybe make it a tie score. Jay Mitchell with a nice shot onto Professor Chaos, who came creeping around the corner, and Jay Mitchell was just in strong position. So he's going to take another gun out of the hands of Exile, but they have enough money at this point. Professor Chaos at 8K, Valens at 7,500, to Automatic sitting at 12.4. I mean, they're loaded.
Oh yeah, they're feeling great right now. They just broke the economy of Area 51, and you said it right in that teams don't plan to lose that round, but when it happens, and you've won so many in a row, you really think of the next round of, instead of having that mentality, darn, we just lost one, now we need to come back and continue that win streak once again. You think more, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for us to break the economy of the other team. That's exactly what they've done, is now Jay Mitchell, the only one on the field. He's fully equipped, really is going to be the player to watch in this round for Area 51. And Exile playing very slow right now. We can see they've taken mid control. They've got Professor Chaos in lower dark, and he's actually going to get sent down to 32 HP as Arya on his backside will get dropped very low, though. 21 HP on Arya. Summit at 31 as well. So this round is slowly dwindling away here as we do see Valens pushing out on Catwalk. He's going to try and take control of mid, but Summit and Miniker get frags, and now a 3v3 situation as the bomb is heading up long, coming up from Cat. That's going to be Miniker. He's got a Molotov to kind of stop the bomb plant, at least momentarily here, as Arya up very quick. He's going to be coming up from the ramp, doesn't peek properly though, and Mask puts him down. Jay Mitchell, last one alive, has all that equipment, not a frag on the board for this round. I feel like maybe they could have positioned him a little bit better.
Yeah, he was playing in mid, and Miniker actually got the kill before he could. Professor Chaos, I don't know how he didn't get that kill in lower. He was one-tapping Summit's head on Cat, just ever so carefully, and the shot just was not hitting. That's a little confusing. Jay Mitchell is able to pick up 1 finally here in the waning seconds of round number 26. But, you know, at this point, that's going to be a tie score, and they're going to be stuck on an eco here. They just lost a lot of money. Although I guess they could potentially buy, depending on how much money they get here. Yeah, they might actually buy here. It would be a very risky buy. They're basing it off the fact that Jay Mitchell could probably drop someone so that Summit doesn't have to buy a FAMAS. They're going to buy here. This might catch Exile off guard, or it could backfire horribly. This could put Exile up 14-13 facing a full eco. And then, you know, making it match point 15-13, that would be devastating for Area 51.
Yeah, you said it best this round, pretty much for all the marbles, as now we do see quickly getting control along. Jay Mitchell and Summit, they're going to be smoking off that location and heading back. We got Exile just playing very slow. Again, both teams realizing how important this round is, and like you said, might be a bit of a surprise to Exile that a buy from the CT side, but being that they've had the smoke grenade long, they could probably guess in a second smoke. They've got to have guessed that there is going to be a buy on the other side. But again, just working very slow. Professor Chaos working a flash through mid that was actually very effective as Hirokanji had to fall back momentarily. But the bomb is in upper dark, and they might opt to make a play there after they finish faking along, as we do see Rush and Valens doing now.
And Rush is getting a lot of information on long based on the amount of flashes he's seeing. He knows that it's going to be a full buy. Jay Mitchell giving away the information. Actually, no, Jay Mitchell was the one who saved the M4 in the last round, so they might not realize that there's a full buy still. Mega Server, a.k.a. Miniker, gets 2 off frags. Mask and Professor Chaos down automatic, finally dropping him before being traded up by Arya. And that's going to be 14-13 in favor of Area 51. Valens, the last man standing. He's come up with some nutty clutches thus far. That 1 versus 5 ninja defuse obviously not going to work from the T side. But he has done things like this before. If he can hit some shots, he might be able to thin that CT side down. Really, he just needs to get some kills and hurt their economy at this point. Automatic has more than enough money to drop him if he loses this AK. He can't afford to save here. He needs to take guns out of the hands of Area 51.
Yeah, looks like he's just opting to save, though, and I would have to agree. If he could get a frag or two, it would be very important, but he's opting to just hang on to that rifle, and that's going to mean a little bit more money on their side, but I would have to agree that taking guns out of the hands of the CTs would be very, very effective, as we do see the money is very low on their side. If any of them had to rebuy up, or more of them, it would have been a bad thing for them. So will be 14th round for Area 51. We'll see if they can close out this map, as, again, they've been on a high score count, round count for quite a while, but Exile has put so many rounds in a row, only 2 rounds on the CT side so far for Area 51, and better late than never that they're picking them up, but Exile's got to feel confident. They're so close to, and again, if they win this round, not a heck of a lot of money on the Area 51 side.
No, not at all. And they're playing an interesting play here. 2 men on Cat. Miniker boosted with that AWP, is able to take Valens down and lower. Rush right behind Xbox in mid. Irakanji is just creeping his way in. He hears the footsteps, so Rush knows he's there. He's just got to try and get the angle through the smoke, and he's going to peek him. Goes for the spray, does connect, so that evens things out. Makes it a 4 versus 4. Miniker, another shot from him with that AWP. He's going to drop automatic. Miniker on platform. The main defense right now for the CT squad as they are pushing up. Miniker is down. Professor Chaos hits the shot, and the rotate is on here. Jay Mitchell and Summit both on elevator there. Mask is able to cross Professor Chaos, stuck behind the smoke. Can't really get out into a good position. Rush is going to take Jay Mitchell down to 32, and is now a 2 versus 2. Mask and Professor Chaos versus Jay Mitchell, Summit, and Arya. Professor Chaos, a nice shot, stopping Summit from boosting over. Jay Mitchell's going to go for the shot, and Mask rips the head off of Arya. Professor Chaos, another AWP kill for him.
Oh, man.
That's Jay Mitchell down, and that makes it 14-14. And you're going to see a split buy here, more than likely, from Area 51, as there are a couple players who can buy, but Arya and Miniker both completely broke because of the fact that they picked up an AWP on Miniker. Arya had to rebuy a couple times, so they're going to have some strange buys here. And speaking of strange, I think this is a first. The auto shotty on Irakanji.
Here we go. This is... oh man, 14-14. What a close map number 2, as we have the bomb inside of upper tunnels. Again, Exile looking to work a little bit slow here, just slowing things down. They know Area 51 has probably little to no economy. So we do see Jay Mitchell Summit. They've got rifles. They've got an auto shotgun on Irakanji, which is actually using his USP just for the long range distance shots until they can kind of push up a little closer. So this all comes down to, if they are going to rush straight into B, Arya close left here. He's got a P250 in hand, has armor. We'll see if they do check that corner as Rush. It does look like he's going to check it, so if they can get this frag and move on in, again, Rush about to come around this corner, but on the other side, they do have Miniker here. Rush gets the frag, Miniker. You need to make this deagle happen, and he doesn't, but Irukanji will be able to get 2 frags. He's going to get that with his auto shotgun, so now the bomb site is taken by the terrorists, and they do have it down. So with 3-on-2 retake, as Area 51, they haven't had much success retaking this site. Let's see if they can do it here on the most important round of this match. Automatic peeks up into Upper Dark, puts Jay Mitchell down to 16 HP, comes around with the Tech 9, and now we're going to see, oh my god, Summit gets the frag, Irukanji gets it as well. And that is the retake for Area 51. They get the round, and it's now 15-14 in favor of Area 51.
And even close on the defuse. Another second or two more, and that could have been a round in favor of Exile. Instead, Area 51 goes up 15-14. Still going to face off against a full buy from Exile. And the buy from Area 51 is not going to be that great. Jay Mitchell picking up a FAMAS. Area is going to have to pick one up as well. So they're going to be a little strapped here. This could go to overtime.
I want to see some overtime action. I don't know about you, but that would be awesome here as we are in round 30. Again, it is Area 51 picking up that last round, pushing this to their match point. Can they close this out? Again, we've said it time and time again. North American rosters do have a problem with this, but I think they know what's on the line. They need to make this happen, but Valen's jumping around the corner, takes down Irukanji, and now pushing into the side, Arya gets the frag. That was oh so important, but now he's put to bed as they are going to be taking mid to B once again. This has been the strat to go to as now Exile and, or rather Mask and Automatic playing outside of CC spawn. They're going to come through. This is going to be an absolute meat grinder.
Unreal.
And we have overtime. Map number 2. Oh my goodness.
How many overtimes is that for us now? Is that 3 or 4?
I've lost track. There's so many.
It's been
honestly,
so close.
I feel like more than that. I could be exaggerating it, but I feel like we've had a lot of overtime so far in this tournament as a whole.
It always feels like more because when you're the caster, it really feels like more. It definitely... It just adds to the amount of work we do, and I'm not complaining. We love it, but I'm saying when you do a game with overtime and a best of 3, it just is like, man, this game is so good. It's so intense. It's just long. But I feel like we have done a lot. We've already done, I know we did one in UB United. I know we did one in, did we do one in Area 51's last matchup?
Versus Paradox? I don't think so. No, they lost. No, it was 16-14 on Cash. I think it was 16 to. It's fairly close. Not as close as the Cash match, but it was a little close on Mirage, and then I think it was 16-8 on Overpass.
It was it was Flying V and Tempo. They went 22-20 on the first map.
There you go.
Then I'm pretty sure UB United and Code went overtime in one of their matches. No, I'm wrong. I don't know anything. Don't listen to me.
It just feels like it. I know the feels, man. I know the feels. But we're about to go live here again in overtime number 1. This is map number 2, Exile. They have a map advantage. So if they can take this in overtime, that's going to be a 2-0 victory for them. If Area 51 can put this on the board and get this map, then we're going to be going to Overpass for map number 3, which I would say that it is Exile that would have the slight advantage there, but it does come down to a knife round. So similar to what we've seen with those Nuke as the 3rd map on these best of 3s, if you win knife round, it really doesn't matter. You can come back and you can do very well on that CT side if you do win that knife round. So we'll see if it does come to that, but we are about to start overtime here as it does look like we have 8 players ready. Not quite there yet, but again, guys, make sure you check out our new website. We just announced that during halftime of this map number 2, so some fresh information as we did launch that website again. Go rgn.tv is the URL. I hope that's the, I'm 90% sure that's the URL. Anyhow,
That's it. It's
check that out.
GoRGN.tv. You're right.
There we go. So check that out, guys. Again, we're going to have a big giveaway going on tomorrow, and instructions will be specifically posted on that website. So make sure you guys check back there often. Again, we've got information about our not our leagues, but our tournaments. We've got information about teams. We also have information about everybody who works at RGN. So again, casters being myself and Bach, and all the back-end people as well. So make sure you guys check that out. And we are going to be doing a follower giveaway after this.
I think we have two, actually. I think we have a P2000 Cortacera and a P250 Franklin, as far as I know. I did see someone post the instructions for the giveaway, as far as I know, at least to get the instructions. You need to go to our website and sign up for an account. And then you you look in the forums, there's an announcement apparently about the giveaway. They will show up on the site tomorrow during the next match. So right now, just go to our website and sign up for an account, and then check the forums tomorrow. There will be instructions there tomorrow, and that will give you all the information you need to get info on the old giveaway Dealy Bopper. And yes, I did just say Dealy Bopper live on stream. It does look like we are getting into the pistol round here. Exile versus Area 51. Get some hype, boys. This is overtime on map number 2. Exile did take the first map. That was cash. Now we're facing off on Dust2. This was Area 51's pick, and they started out way up. 12-3 after their T-side. Exile mounted a massive comeback, ultimately gave 15 rounds to Area 51, won in round 30 to take it to overtime. So they're going to be carrying that momentum from that round 30 victory and potentially take the pistol round here. That would be huge. We do see multiple ops on the board for Area 51, one in the hands of Arya, one in the hands of Miniker, who's been hitting shots day in and day out, but he gets dropped early here by Valens with the AK, and here's the push on A. Summon is taken down on Elevator. Jay Mitchell, the last man standing at A. That's Valens dropping him as well. So 5 men up for Exile, and it's just Irukandji and Arya left, and they have definitely shown up here in the first half of this overtime, taking the first round with a blitz here on A. And the 2 men left for Area 51 are going to opt to save, as Irukandji is down to 4 HP. Arya with that op. The money ever so important here. You only get to play 3 rounds, so this is the only round that Area 51 can really afford to lose. They're going to get a pick here on automatic. And I believe that is Rush over in B tunnels. He knows those 2 players are sitting in T-spawn. Arya gets another one. They can't afford to keep losing these guns like this. Valens gets dropped as well. What is going on? Exile really has to question what they're doing here. They can afford to lose some AKs, but not like that. That's going to put a lot of money in Arya's pocket there, getting multiple frags there at the buzzer. But still, Exile takes round number 1 in the first half of overtime, so that makes the score 16-15.
Yeah, Exile's going to be happy about that, and we did see them very, very dominant on their T side. So I would actually give overtime advantage definitely to Exile, purely because they're starting on the side that they've done very, very well on. They have 12 rounds. If they can get 3 in a row, that would be very, very important. So we do see Irukandji taking down Valens, and I do apologize if I repeated anything that Bach just said in that first overtime. I was utilizing the restroom, so I do apologize, as we are now in overtime round 2 here, as mid-control going to Exile. They've got Professor Chaos and Rush trying to work this area. Valens has already been dropped, so that's going to be advantage to the CT side, as just, again, working very slow, now heading towards long. Jay Mitchell inside a pit. He's going to peek out, takes the first frag. Can he get Rush as well? Peeks out, gets it as well. So that's going to be a great run for him, as now Automatic setting a grenade into the pit, drops Jay Mitchell down to 34 HP. He peeks out right when Automatic pulls out a flash, and in a 1v5 situation, I think, ooh, he does take down Summit. He's going to flash through, grabs an AK-47. He's going to try and drop Jay Mitchell, and fully blind, he will do so. And now in a 1v3, he's got 40 seconds on the clock, picks up his AWP once more, will flash his way out of long, and Irukandji on the other side, he legs Irukandji. If he got that frag, would have been oh so important, but even just putting damage on him, he can get Miniker as he cross towards long A platform, or rather, A platform. Miniker will be there, misses the shot, Automatic does as well. And he will fall back long, again, running out of time here. He's going to flash the cross and takes down Miniker. Oh my god. Oh. Eventually, Arya finally shows up from long and gets that frag, but that was looking fairly close, as taking himself from a 1v5 into a 1v2 Automatic. Looking pretty damn good right now.
Yeah, that was a nice round from Area 51. I thought that automatic could actually take that. It basically came down to an AWP map. We had 3 AWPs in the hands of the CTs, Irakanji, Arya, and Mega Server, aka Miniker, picking them up this round. But that could have been big. He could have picked up that 3K there at the end of the round, clutched it for his team, and taken a lot of money out of the hands of Area 51. Instead, Area 51 able to hold on to those 3 AWPs, and they start out nicely here in round number 3 of the first half of overtime, taking down Valens. And here comes that mid to B play we've seen a lot of thus far.
Yeah, Miniker will be holding from double doors B. We'll see. Very key frag if he can get it. Does take down Rush. Peeks out again, though, and that's going to be Professor Chaos taking him down. Arya, he's been in this spot before. We'll see if he can hold AWP in hand. Will he get the first one? Mask puts him down handily, and now the B site has been taken over. 3v3 on the retake. Jay Mitchell is very, very close to window. Does have Summit right behind him. Working from tunnel, that's Irukanji. Will be trying to utilize that CZ75, recently buffed once again, as now he is opting from upper tunnel. Will smoke out, though. Summit now dropping into sight. Or rather, Jay Mitchell as well. Summit gets 2. Mask will fire back and get 2 herself in a 1v1. But that's Irukanji getting the frag with the CZ75 and picking up an oh-so-important round. Second for their CT side half, and we saw them get 12 rounds on their T side half in the first half of this Dust2 map. So that's a lot of halves, but we are going to be moving into an, dare I say it, the second half of overtime.
Exile, that was your round to win. You had the bomb down, post-plant positioning was strong. Irakanji just did a lot of damage to Professor Chaos in Upper Dark with the CZ, and then Professor Chaos had to fall off, and Irakanji was able to push in aggressively, use that CZ to take down Mask. You have to wonder, if he didn't have a CZ there the way it is now, what would he have had? Would he have had a 5-7? Would have been P250? And how different would that have played out? Would he have been dropped? Who knows? I kind of feel like Valve nerfed the CZ to make it balanced, went a little too far, and then just said, well, never mind.
Yeah, we'll put a couple more things back in.
I don't understand the logic. I know that the money is still kind of broken, but nonetheless, I still think the gun is overpowered in its current state. I thought it was before. I think it is now. And you did see it there. Irakanji was able to put a lot of damage on Professor Chaos, force him into B, and then he put a lot of damage on the Mask, ultimately finishing her off, taking that round for Area 51, making the score 17-16. Exile is not buying head armor.
Yeah, they're actually opting to save that, which, again, AK-47 does take, it's a one-shot kill regardless, and then AWPs. So I don't actually think that that's a big, like, even a misplay by them. I think that's some money saved as they do, again, looking on the board, unless these players switch over to their pistols, which could be the case, but they do have AK-47, so not a big deal there, as we do see the T's. They do have the advantage. They've picked a player on the CT side. The same has happened for Arya there as he's sitting on the bench, but that is always going to be in favor of the T side as it does weaken the defenses at one of the sites. But Jay Mitchell, he is going to whiff that grenade like I've never seen before, but we'll make up for it as he peeks out, gets Valens. Mask will be able to fire back. She was working long here, and the retake is going to have to happen as we do see Rush coming up from CT, automatic on his heels, and that's going to be Mask from long. So we'll see if they can make it happen here as now Jay Mitchell trying to get the spray down. Eventually, Miniker will be able to get one. Rush takes down Jay Mitchell. Miniker now still alive, and Summit in a 1v1 against Rush will be able to collect the round, and that's 18-6. Area 51 now on match point. They can get one more round. We are going to Overpass.
Overpass due to overtime. A lot of overs right now. If I'm Area 51, I don't know how I feel about this. Even though you want to win this map, obviously you don't want to lose. You know that you're going into a map that you are not that strong on. So it's kind of a scary thought to be like, all right, we won on a map we really think we're good on in overtime after going up 12-3 in our first half, and now we're going to go to a map that we aren't so good on, which is Overpass. If I'm Area 51, I'm kind of like, this is not really a great situation to be in. And if we win, we get to play a map where we stink at. If we lose, we're going to the lower brackets. It's kind of a catch-22 for a team like Area 51.
Yeah, maybe they've performed some improvements on their play on Overpass, as again we saw them against Paradox. It was their map pick, which we thought was kind of a surprise, and it seemed to be that they weren't as prepared as we had suspected, only getting a couple rounds on that T side. So we'll see Probably going to come down to that knife round if we are going to go there, but this is not over yet, as Exile, if they can take 2 in a row, will go to that second overtime, and we see a mid to be fake is coming out of Cat. Valens, he's going to be close in Goose. He takes down Jay Mitchell. Very important frag. Arya peeks around the corner, gets dropped as well. Now it's Miniker. Tries to get the frag, but that was a flawless victory here from Exile, not losing a single player, and they're 1 round away from pushing this to a second overtime.
I really wish we had Mortal Kombat queued up for that flawless victory soundbite.
I know, right?
As soon as you said it, I was like, oh, flawless victory.
It would be awesome.
But yeah, that was a big round from them. It's unfortunate that it comes at the last round because obviously the economic damage doesn't really matter too much with this being overtime. And we're going to see a kill coming out early. That's Professor Chaos, who got lit up. I believe he caught a shot from an AK as well as an off shot from Miniker. And that's probably going to open up a mid to B play.
Wow.
Jay Mitchell, a nice frag onto automatic. It's now 3 versus 5. And what is going on here? Looks like Area 51 just storming mid here, not even caring. Area is going to push into CT spawn, gun down Valens. It's basically Rambo right now. And it looks like Exile is getting ready to drop this map. It's a 2 versus 5 Rush on 28 HP. Mask at full up. Rush is going to get one. That's Miniger down. Jay Mitchell trades out. Mask would have to come up with a massive clutch to take it to double overtime. So here's the flash out mid. Takes down one, but the repeat from Arya is there. So 19-17. Area 51 takes Dust2 and single overtime. Nice map from both teams, a strong comeback from Exile, but we're going to be moving into Overpass, and I am worried because I don't think I've seen Exile play Overpass, and I have seen Area 51 play Overpass, and it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, no doubt, as we are going to be moving into Overpass here. Again, the third and final map of this best of 3. So, guys, we're going to take a very short break here, but when we return, the conclusion of this best of 3. Don't go anywhere. All right, guys, we are back. Map number 3 in the knife round underway, as we do see they are going to be swapping swipes here, trying to decide who will choose which side, and it does look like Exile, they are going to lose. I always get confused because the names are always swapped, it seems, whenever we're doing knife rounds, but that was Area 51 picking up that knife round, and oh boy, was that an important one for them again, because we saw their T side out of Overpass previously, and it wasn't the most impressive thing. That being said, they could have done work since then. There's been plenty of time to provide those changes. So this is map number 3. This is a best of 3 in the round of 8. The RGN New Year's Open. I am Sprawl. By my side is Bach, and we are more than excited to bring you map number 3 of this series.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect out of either of these teams on this map. Area 51 we've obviously seen, but Exile, I don't think we've seen Exile play it. I kind of wonder if this is just going to come down to like almost like an aim map. It's just going to be a matter of who takes the duels. I know that Area 51 at least has some strats for this map. They just didn't work out in their last matchup. I don't know what Exile has, and I don't think Exile is thrilled about having to play it either. But, you know, the team of Denial, obviously getting a big sponsor in Denial, they've got to be practicing more and more. So the players from Denial, like Automatic and Balance and Rush from Elevate, they know the map. They've probably formulated strategies. It's just a matter of learning how to execute them as a team, as they're kind of a mix play type of team. And it does look like they're going to opt for a B play here early. Valen's banking a smoke off the pole there, and they're going to be able to get that bomb down. Arya behind Toxic Barrels isn't able to get a kill, but does enough to decoy the T's there, and Summit and Jay Mitchell are able to get 2. Arya with the barbecue kill onto Valen's. Rush only getting the kill onto Arya. Final kills cleaned up there for the CT side of Area 51, and a little bit of a chaotic round, but Exile does not win the much-needed pistol round, so they're going to be starting off on the disadvantage on an already hugely disadvantaged map. That is Overpass T-side. I really hope they could have picked up the T-side pistol there, but maybe they can pull one of their magical ecos out of their hat here and take it to 1-1.
Now we see 2 Tech 9s on the board, and when those are on the field, anything can happen, really. So Automatic and Rush utilizing those, the rest of the lineup going with Glocks more or less. Mask will have a P250 in hand, but we do see the CT side lineup just playing very, very defensive, and that's not a bad idea, as they really have no reason to push out, especially through mid and long on these anti-ecos. They might just get them into some trouble, as a 5-man rush could be real, one of those contact rushes where you just have 5 players just walking till you find that one and you rush them with everything you have. So this positioning kind of prevents that kind of strategy from working out unless they do it right onto this A site. But we do see Urukanji, Miniker, they are holding a good crossfire here. It is going to be a front of A site push, as we do see smokes are down. So they're going to try and get a bomb plant inside of the smoke here, but so far isn't working out in their favor, as finally they will have Mask putting that bomb down, gets it down, and actually this is a 2v2, as now only Rush on the field. He's got a FAMAS in hand, though. They're going to tap the bomb. That's going to force him out, and Jay Mitchell eventually gets that frag, but a very close round there. Exile with 3 frags of bomb plant. They're going to be feeling pretty good, considering they didn't even get armor. They just got a couple smokes, a couple pistols, and they now have money to play with.
Yeah, they'll probably buy, maybe not so much buy up here. They got a couple players that are lit. They could go for a force buy, get some Galils on the board, but I think they'd be smart to save. Try and get another bomb plant, get more economy built up for that first full buy. And I have to say, I found my new favorite angle to watch on eco rounds. I jump up into the skybox and just watch from like the third person and watch everybody running around. Rounds like that are so enjoyable to watch that way, because I get to see every little piece of the puzzle come together. And it makes it a lot more fun to watch. But that was an interesting play out there. Getting the bomb plant there, they had a 3 versus 3, potentially a chance to hold it off. Unfortunately, not able to out-rifle the rifles with their pistols. They do get a kill, though, early in round number 3. That's Automatic with the Galil before being traded out by Urukanji. So 4 versus 4 right now with 1 minute and 15 seconds left on the clock. Exile making their way over towards A. They got a man on picnic area. That's Rush. The rest of the 3 are going Long Park. That's Mask, Professor Chaos, and Valens. And they're going to just walk their way up. There is not really much of an A defense as far as towards the restroom area. Most of the players playing back in sight. Summit behind truck, and Jay Mitchell in bank. And here comes the dreaded smoke that can cut off half of the site automatically. And that's going to be able to stop something. Unfortunately, neither of their smokes really hit the way they're supposed to. Summit throws his smoke too deep. Jay Mitchell throws his smoke too short, so there's plenty of vision here for the T side of Exile.
Yeah, fortunately, though, for Area 51, no real push here, as agreed. They did kind of mess up their smoke slightly. So again, kind of showing that maybe Area 51, again, not the strongest on this map, but they are on the CT side. They're working the momentum thus far. This is the first rifle round, though, we see in a 4v4 situation. They will push up Summit down to 47, but they do have one player in Jay Mitchell. He gets 2 frags, eventually will get traded upon, and now a 2v2. They do have the bomb planted. Arya tries to get the frag, but Mask stopping on a dime and getting that headshot. Irokanji, he's going to push out, try and get this done here, as now he's out of ammo and will pick up a xile, putting some damage onto him. Now Rush full HP on himself. He goes for the...
Nice
that was
play.
interesting. Started a reload, as I struggle to say that, but did pop up, get that headshot, and a great round there for Exile. And putting one on the board this early on in this half is really important for Exile. Again, it is very easy to kind of feel down and out on these CT-sided maps where you're not getting many T rounds. So the fact that they got very close to getting that second round and now picked up the third, that's going to be great. And especially talking about economy, we look at a very, very lowly equipped Area 51 lineup.
Yeah, only 2 farmhouse on the board. Jay Mitchell and Irokanji. Exile going to start off things with a kill from Mask. Taking down Summit. That's only a 5-7 out of their hands, though. Jay Mitchell right around the corner from that smoke. Not able to get the kill. Arya, though, with the 5-7 getting lit on the catwalk area of the B bomb site.
Oh,
And
Irokanji.
Mask, another kill on Irokanji there. That's 2 for her this round, the 2K. Coming up big, dropping one of those rifles. The only one left on the board is Jay Mitchell. And I'm not sure where Jay Mitchell's at. Jay Mitchell is over deep in Canal. Is he playing on the corner where you can kind of shift up the wall? Yes, sort of. He's not really up on the wall, though. Just playing short pipe right now. It looks like it's going to be an A play, though. As it's funny, the change to the map, before they changed the bomb site at A, you would watch T's go B probably, I'd say, 70% of the rounds. Now, it's completely the opposite. It's about 70% of the rounds go towards A because they can smoke the front of the site and get that plant off without any vision from the CTs.
Yeah, that's going to be Miniker and Arya, though, picking up 2 frags. Rush finally fires back here. Jay Mitchell still alive with Arya and going to try and prevent this plant, but eventually that's going to be Exile taking the round. And quite honestly, Irokanji, he tried so hard. He was one of the 2 players that rushed into stairs that round, and the first player, I can't remember who it was, went down as they peeked into the kind of that alleyway. Irokanji was smoked off, so he decided to wait. He waited and waited, but that smoke grenade prevented him. He tried to move out behind the players that exited through Squeaky Door, and he got stuck in the smoke. He was trying to use the radar, and he just kept on running into the wall, and eventually, I believe it was Mask who eventually sprayed him down. So, not the best play there, but we've all been there before, getting stuck in smoke. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world to try and navigate utilizing your radar when you're in the middle of a blind spot like that.
Yeah, absolutely not. And it's going to push Area 51 onto a full eco here. They had sort of a split buy last round, maybe trying to break the economy of Exile. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Irokanji is going to get the first kill. That's Mask down. That was an aggressive push, I think, over on... I can't really tell where that came in. Was that Playground?
Yeah, that was out long. So he was actually like at the tree, more or less. And I think he got the kill. And then after he got the kill, he got a little bit aggressive. He wanted to pick up that weapon, but for Professor Chaos, he wasn't going to let that happen. So... nice pick early, but going for that weapon, maybe his demise is now Miniker. He's going to get dropped out long as well in the defenses of the CTs, although Summit now has an AK-47. It is a 3v3, and they are going to be taking front sight here at A.
And Summit's going to spot out Professor Chaos, but unfortunately Aim Punch getting the best of him. Professor Chaos gets the kill. Arya's going to push towards E-Box, and Arya just goes for the spam with that USP. Going to get lit up, but nothing hits. Finds the AK that Summit dropped. Jay Mitchell able to take down 1. That's Professor Chaos off the board. That's from Park. And Rush sitting in bathrooms here. Gonna be the big man of the round. Takes down Jay Mitchell. It's all down to the last man standing. That's Arya. And Arya looks like gonna save that AK-47 and fall off. Maybe a bit of a wise play here. It's a pretty hard retake in a 2 versus 1 with the bomb ticking away and no kit. Saving that AK, definitely going to help the economy of the CT side. They're now going to be down 3-2. So Exile taking the lead here on Overpass. And Arya can't save the AK because it's a top-down bomb site. Something that a lot of players don't really think about.
He was so far. That was insane.
But it's right above him. So if you look at the way the map is constructed, it's almost like being planting the bomb upper on nuke because the map is a top down. So the A bomb site sits right above the B bomb site almost. So he wasn't quite far enough away without armor to survive that. That's the big thing.
That
he
was
had no
crazy.
Armor.
Yeah, exactly. He was like walking into Canal though. That's just wow.
Yep.
So I'd like to see how much that does with armor, but regardless, that's going to be him not saving a weapon. And again, Area 51, maybe if they had a little bit more experience on the map, they would know that kind of thing. But Valens, he's going to drop this bomb early on. And Area 51, this is an advantage that they cannot afford to lose. As the bomb is in their possession, they now just have to hold it from some rushing in terrorists. We do see Professor Chaos and Rush. They're both going to be working from stairs, as Mask still working the long position.
And they're boosting up here in Squeaky Door, trying to peek through the window, potentially catch someone off guard. This spot is pretty easy to hold for the CTs. Professor Chaos lit down to 17. If they just spam that wall, both of these players could drop. Instead, it looks like they're going to opt to fall back, maybe wrap back around towards the tunnels. Meanwhile, the 6th player, that is Mask, over on Park, pushed all the way up towards the A bomb site. And if she can sneak into Bank, that would be a big get for the team of Exile. There's another player there, though. That is Irakanji, who's just sitting in Bank waiting. So unless he rotates out, it's going to be hard for her to do much of anything. It looks like they're just going to save their guns at this point. 20 seconds left. There's no way they're getting that bomb back. A bit of a wise play from Exile, as they don't really have a whole lot of money to fall back on. So they'll be able to potentially drop guns for their allies here in the next round. Valens at 5250, Automatic at 900. They'll be able to sort of buy here. Automatic will probably have to eco, but Valens will be able to buy up. So a decent round in the fact that they were able to keep the guns, but obviously you don't want to lose any more than they already have. It's tough because Overpass is just so one-sided. You need to just get as many rounds as you can as fast as you can before the CT side just builds up all the steam they need.
Yeah, now that Area 51, they picked up the 2 first rounds of this map. And they now pick up number 6. So we'll see if they can continue that momentum like you were suggesting. We'll see if they can build some steam here. But Exile, they have different plans. They want to come in and stop that before it even happens. So Valens, he will be flashing over long pipe towards B. As 2 of the players, it's going to be Automatic and Professor Chaos coming out of Squeaky Door. Takes down Summit as he tries to get aggressive. Arya was in the same position momentarily. He does fall back, but getting aggressive on the CT side. He's going to spam his way through, but gets dropped to Valens. Unfortunately for him, there's not a heck of a lot of place where you can spam that from the CT side, but on the T side, you really have a lot of ground to kind of utilize. So utilizing that advantage is Valens, gets the frag, and now in a 5v3 situation, we see the rest of the T's heading towards that A-bomb site.
Yeah, and in a 5v3, obviously going to be hard to hold off the site. You can't really get an optimal crossfire. Right now, they do have a man. I think there's one on truck. That is Miniker. Irakanji pushing up towards security truck. So they do have the crossfire in place. It's just a matter of whether or not they're going to be able to hold it off. Miniker going for the smoke spam. Not able to find the kill. Flashes rain out. Valens is going to take down Irakanji. Jay Mitchell gets dropped. Last man is Miniker here. He's on site and he's spamming that smoke, and they're not able to find him just yet. 13 HP. Gets one. That's Exile Automatic off the board. Let's see if he's going to get another one. Goes for the spray on to Rush. Rush gets the frag there. So 4-3 in favor of Exile here. And that's pretty much it. They've done everything they need to do on Overpass. 4 rounds. You know that you're okay going into the next half. Not saying they're going to let off the gas, just saying that a sigh of relief can be breathed by Exile. And if anything, I will think that actually helps them. Because a lot of players come into a map like Overpass, like Nuke, like Cobblestone, and they hit that T side and they go, well, crap. And they know that they have to win so many rounds, and it's like they got something stuck in their rectum for the first half of the game. Once they hit that goal, it's like, okay, we can relax. We can lay back. We can play our style of offense. And usually that helps. They end up taking more rounds because they can play the way they're used to playing, as opposed to right now, they're playing this very tight-knit, very stiff, rigid offense that maybe doesn't sit their style so much.
Yeah, agreed. We'll see if their playstyle does change a little bit, taking a little bit more risks here and there as they do gain round victories. But at this point, It is 4-3, still a close half, but Area 51, it really is on them to try and make something happen as they need to get as many as they can on the CT side. It is a very CT-sided map as we do see Valens trying to peek through into the B bomb site. He's actually going to drop Arya, and that's a beautiful pick as now, what do you do as the CTs? Do you rotate towards that site? Again, you haven't heard anything else, and Valens hasn't peeked out again. But the bomb is heading towards that A site. We do see that's going to be Mask trying to get a frag onto Miniker. Won't work out, though, but Valens cleaning up at this B site now on the long flank. He will be able to come behind, but won't matter if they can get all the frags at the front, as now it's automatic Valens on the rotate. They must have heard him, and he's going to peek around the corner. Doesn't get Summit. And now in a 1v2, we see automatic 15 seconds on the clock. This is a doable round as Summit definitely very hurt. He's at 30 HP, but peeking out, that's going to be Irukanji getting sprayed down here, but Summit sprays back. And that's going to be the round. I totally thought he would have died through that. Look at how many bullets are there. Let's see. That's about 20 bullets I saw, and just like one bullet did look like 5% damage to Irukanji on the other side of that. So unfortunately, didn't work out. But Exile still in 4 rounds. They're not too worried. Area 51, on the other hand, they need to take this next round as they are going to be broke as heck if they don't.
Yeah, and Exile on the ego here with the Tech 9s. Like we said, they're definitely feeling okay with the fact that they've already taken 4. If they could get 6 rounds, Exile's going to be, like, ecstatic. Like, seriously thrilled, because anything more than 5, it's pretty much a fail side CT. You need to get double-digit rounds on the CT side. You can't afford to lose anything under 10. If you're getting, you can't afford to get anything less than 10. So if they get 9 rounds CT side, that is not good. So right now, Exile is on pace to potentially cause that. They only need 2 more rounds to guarantee 9-6. And then obviously any round after that is icing on the cake. Irukanji and Miniker have been lights out over on the A bomb site right now with that crossfire from Truck and Bank. And then you have Summit pushed up towards construction area at the CT cross. Jay Mitchell in Pit and Arya over in Toxic. The flashes and smokes and everything are going to rain out over on A though, so it looks like it's going to be an A plant. And here come the smokes and flashes for Irukanji, who's just sitting on a bank. Professor Chaos goes for the plant. He's going to get the bomb plant off, so that's big. And they're still going to have 3 up here, so they have the potential here to defend the bomb, as it's going to be the retake from Area 51. Bomb planted in front of the box. Summit with a nice headshot, though, taking down Professor Chaos. And they're going to go for try and stop this defuse right now. Automatic coming in with the help of Mask, able to take down Jay Mitchell. Automatic somehow still alive, gets Miniker down as well. So really good eco round there from Exile, taking down 3 players and getting the bomb plant. That's going to be huge for their money. And coming into round 10, they're going to be only down by 1 round. So definitely a good half so far from Exile.
Yeah, Exile looking really good, and I would like to note that last time when we saw Area 51 get taken out by Paradox, Miniker was only on 8 frags by the end. So he plays a very, very important position inside of this A site where he's looking at a position where that's the first contact as they kind of make it into sight. The person from Bank is actually in a position where, and Miniker actually, no, they're boosted up right now. Again, this is not the broken boost spot. Broken boost spot, as I attempt to say that. It is the one where you can get up onto the truck and boost over it, and you have a small crack you can see through towards tracks. And hitting that shot, very nice from Miniker. As, again, that's not the broken olive pass boost. That is one that is intended to be on this map. So Arya, Jay Mitchell getting 2 frags. Mask and Automatic last 2 alive here. Now Mask comes around the corner, will go down. And that flawless win, again, we've seen Exile do so much damage on their eco rounds that actually was a great round for Area 51 compared to the other eco rounds they had been defending.
Yeah, considering the fact that they lost 3 in the last round and gave up the bomb, definitely starting to calm down a little bit is Area 51. They need to keep things moving at a decent pace. They can't afford to keep losing 2-3 players every single round. This is so CT-sided. We always talk about how CT-sided it is. But it's CT-sided enough that if you continue to lose players every single round, you're giving the Ts things they don't deserve. And right now we are going to see the team of Area 51 starting out nicely, but Automatic pushing through to Squeaky Door, able to catch Summit off guard. He did get taken down to 44 HP by a nice nade. I don't know who that was at the top of the stairs. But Arya a little bit letting his teammate hang out to dry, not pushing that smoke, hearing the player there. I'm not sure how Summit got caught off guard, maybe a lack of communication. But still, a nice kill for Exile, opening things up just a little bit there. It's going to be 4 versus 5 here with 59 seconds left to go in round number 11. And Automatic goes for a little cute flash. Unfortunately, does not hit it. The push, meanwhile, looks like it's working its way towards B. And it looks like the CTs are already rotating out. If they could just take their time here, bomb over in the stairs. And it looks like, never mind, bomb is actually opting towards A. So again, there's this 70% A bomb site take that we've seen it pretty much every round so far.
Yeah, exactly. And again, we see Miniker. He's holding that angle. He's the first one to see anybody. So Mask going down early. Miniker hitting a shot. And here comes the wall of smokes as they're going to be coming into front sight here. Valen's very lit. Going to try and get that bomb down. And again, very difficult to spray through the smoke and make that happen as hitboxes while you're planted. Well, we're not going to get into that right now as we do see Miniker getting a frag onto Valens. We'll see Professor Chaos peeks out, gets one. Now in a 2v2 here. A winnable round for the T's as Jay Mitchell will peek out. Now only Miniker alive. They're both in the same spot. He gets the first frag. Now in a 1v1 Automatic versus Miniker. Can he make it happen in Miniker? He has to get this round. If Exile can put another one on the board, that is just going to be huge. It's Automatic not buying this at all and peeks out, gets a beautiful headshot, knows exactly the location of Miniker, and that's going to be the round as Exile picks up their 5th of this T side.
I don't know if you noticed, but I'm pretty sure Miniker shot Jay Mitchell through the box there for like 16 damage with the AWP because team damage makes absolutely no sense whatsoever in CSGO.
Pretty much.
but yeah, he does take him down. They're able to get that plant, but the big mistake wasn't even really a mistake. It was just kind of bad luck from Exile. They went to Molly over into Bank, and someone jumped in front of, I think it was Valens with the Molly, and it just bounced right off of his teammate and landed directly on their feet. So they had that set up perfectly to take the site. And unfortunately, just a little bit of bad timing ends up almost costing the round. They were able to take it, but it came down to a 1v1, and Automatic played that perfectly. He knew that Miniker was not sticking it, ultimately peeking at the last minute when he knew he couldn't get the defuse, trying to keep that AWP out of their hands. So great play from Automatic there. Really a big clutch, taking them to 5 rounds, and at this point, you have to wonder what Area 51 is thinking. I know they're about to take this round here as they already have 5 up and 3 down. They're going to take 4 down while his mask is dropped, so Professor Chaos the last man standing, but losing 5 rounds, being this close on Overpass, it doesn't matter that you're up, it matters that it's so close. It matters that you've lost 5 already to a T-side on a map that is supposed to be like 12-3. So Area 51 can't be too thrilled with the way things are going so far. There's only 2 rounds left, and they need to close out with victories. And by 2 rounds, I do mean this and then 2 more to follow.
Yeah, one thing to note about that last round, they utilized that boost once again, so Miniker was able to actually gain the information that the bomb was heading towards that site. He actually whiffed, I think, a total of 3 shots of the players going down the stairs where he's kind of got a split, tiny angle to hold. But again, that's enough to get the bomb on the radar. So that was the reason why we saw 4 CTs down at the B site. They were able to stack there, take the round, and now Exile on an eco here. We do see all 4 of them. Well, not all 4. We've got Rush. I realize that sounded confusing. Rush is going to be middle. There's 4 going out long is what I attempted to get at. So holding from the A site, though, again, Miniker holding an angle from the truck where he's going to be one of the first to contact. But the way they smoked it off here, he's going to have a rough time as he only has a very small crack through the smoke, and they can plant perfectly inside of the smoke. And again, look at this. Not a single shot onto Valens. And now he's going to walk out the wrong direction, but it actually works out in his favor because he's right behind 2 of the players. We do see Rush taking down 1 Automatic. We'll be able to take down Miniker, and now in a 4v2. This is not the way Area 51 wanted to have this at all, but Summit through the smoke gets 1. Last one alive, but Rush puts him down with a Tech 9, and Exile picking up that round. Again, just letting Area 51 have no foothold in this map. They're just going from winning rounds to losing. We've had 2 back and forth. 10th round with CT, 11th T, 12 CT, 13th was a T-side round. So back and forth, they are slugging this out, and that is definitely going to go in the favor of Exile.
That is some serious ping-ponging on this map. Bouncing all over the place. That was an excellent eco strategy there from Exile. Smoking the early site, getting the bomb down. That off on truck is kind of hurting them because they can't spam that smoke quite as well as they could with an M4. and that's why they've been able to get the bomb down a couple times. Miniker and J Mitchell already down here in round number 14. 7-6 is the scoreline. They can't afford to lose any more rounds. Arya is going to get dropped as well after taking down Automatic. It's down to Summit and Irakanji versus Mask Valence, Professor Chaos, and Rush. In round number 14, a minute and 5 seconds left. Irakanji with an aggressive play here takes down Valence and Rush, and bomb is dropped. Professor Chaos able to take down that man and sight that Summit. It's all down to Irakanji here. The big play from him. He's able to take down one. Will he get the other? Mask cleaning up there with the 3K, or the 2K for that matter. And that is 7-7, and Exile looking like they could potentially take the half 8-7. That would be unreal. As right now, Area 51 is going to be on an eco. We see Deagles and Swag 7s, 5.7s, all sorts of different guns, but no rifles. So this could be an easy round here for Exile to take. And that 8-7 score on the T side of Overpass, that's a death notice. That's terrible.
Yeah, there's no way to really sugarcoat that. That's not the score line you're looking to make work on that CT side, as Exile looking to get their 8th round here. Again, very well equipped considering the equipment that we see on the other end. So Summit already dropped down to 8 HP. Arya goes down in mid, and they're pushed out ways away from the bomb sites. They're just kind of getting aggressive around the map. We see Irakanji here with a Swag 7. Will get dropped by Valence, as now Miniker alive right out long. Finally makes work of that Deagle. Gets a sick one-shot onto Mask as she tried to push out long. J Mitchell will be able to get one frag. So it is a 2v3 situation, but J Mitchell on 39 HP, Summit on 8. This is going to be very difficult, as now Summit, his location not necessarily known, as we do see Automatic and the rest of the T's heading up into sight. Oh, this is going to be huge. He's going to have to work this oh so well. He will take down Automatic. Professor Chaos puts him away, though, and I would have liked to have seen maybe him push up a little bit, get a little bit more information, but again, there really is kind of the patience of the player, and Rush puts down J Mitchell as he boosts up onto Electric Box, and Exile with 8 rounds, winning the half on T side. They're going to be jumping for joy, as I imagine they're going to have a strong CT. Again, I've never seen necessarily this lineup specifically play this map, but we do have 2 players from, actually 3 technically, from the Denial lineup. Professor Chaos is technically the 6th player on the Denial roster, and then obviously Automatic Valence, they're on the same team as well. So I imagine they're going to have a good CT side, but we'll find out here shortly, as we're waiting for these players to ready up.
Let me make sure that that's actually true. I think that he's actually that player on Professor, let's see, Professor Chaos. I'm more than certain that that's correct. I'm not sure if he came over with their switch when they moved to Denial.
Let's see. I've been told that he's a 6 for Denial, Jeremy 9000. That's what he told me. So again, he usually has decent, I say decent, he's got incredible knowledge of the scene. So hopefully that is accurate information. But if not, again, regardless, even if he's not, he was the 6-4 when they were under the Lunatic name. So could definitely still have some good synchronization with the rest of the lineup. As we've seen, obviously, he's played very well with the lineup thus far. And again, we'll see what happens when we enter into the second half, as 7-8 is our current score line. So again, I know we've said it a couple times over again, but please do make sure you guys check out our new website, RGN.TV. We just launched that officially today, mid-match, on map number 1 here. So check that out for information on our tournaments, our teams, our staff, and we are hosting a giveaway over there. So find the instructions on the site. I believe the instructions aren't going up until tomorrow. At least that's what I was told. But fuck, you were saying maybe that they might be up there already? Or am I crazy thinking that I heard you say that?
What we need to do is everyone needs to go sign up for an account on GoRGN.TV, and then tomorrow check back. We will have instructions about the giveaway. There will be an announcement. You can get all the details. I don't even know what we're giving away just yet. I think it's kind of hush-hush, so shh, don't tell anybody. But I think it's going to be something that is worth your time, so definitely head over there and make an account. Meanwhile, you can follow us on Twitter as well. That's at GoRGNTV. And I do believe we have a giveaway tonight on Twitter. If I'm not mistaken, it's for a Deagle Blaze. I think that's brought to us by Hito. So follow us on Twitter. Follow Hito as well. I'm sure you'll see that spam throughout the night on the chat. You can also follow me on Twitter. That's at Bach_TV. And you can follow Sprawl at Official Sprawl. So I don't even have to ask him for his Twitter handle anymore. I know it.
Yeah. That's my bro right there, as we are going into the second pistol round. Exile, they're going to be feeling really good, especially if they pick up the CT side pistol. If Area 51 is able to grind out a pistol round win, they're well on their way back, but I sell well on your way. It honestly will be a bit of a mountain to climb. As we saw them versus Paradox, they got 2 rounds on the T side, and I would say that Exile, a more impressive lineup here. So we do see it is going to be a mid play, at least from the start, as we do see all 5 terrorists heading through mid. And we'll see if they can make it onto that A site quick enough to kind of catch the CT side off surprise, as we're going to see Valens. He's holding a corner, gets dropped immediately by Irokanji. So early pick there, but Automatic sends it back in the favor of the CTs as they're trying to lock down this A site. The Ts have made it onto site. Rush picks up 1, and now Irokanji fires back. He's got 2 in this round so far. Very impressive from him. Jay Mitchell dropping Rush 2v3 situation, as now we do see Mask. She's on the flank, and very important role for her to play. Automatic just needs to stay alive and buy time, as now Mask taking down Irokanji. That was the impressive pistol player we saw 2 frags from already in this round. This nade is going to be massive, as drops Miniker down to 40 HP, now dropped to 27. Mask trying to get aggressive, gets the frag. Can she get Jay Mitchell as well? Will get the frag. We'll find out here in a moment. No kits on site, but I do believe they should have enough time, as Mask is 5 seconds away from a pistol round victory, and a heck of a way to start this pistol round and the second half of this map number 3.
That nade could have done so much more, but because CSGO nades are so stupid, they're so dumb. It's like you could be standing on the sidewalk, and if the nade lands in the street, all of the damage gets blocked by the curb. It's so broken.
It's to that extent. That's not even an overstatement. Like, that's actually how it works.
Or it could like land behind a pillar and you could be standing next to it. It's not even behind the pillar across from you, it's right next to you. And for some reason all the damage is eaten by the pillar. It makes 0 sense. But at the same point, how else do you deal with that? Do you just let nades wallbang everything? I don't know, it's a little bit confusing. Nonetheless though, Summit with the Tech-9 gonna pull out his best shot there onto Mask. Make it a 4 versus 5 in favor of Area 51. And this is an eco round that Exile cannot afford to lose. They're going to definitely smoke off here. Automatic going for a little bit of a jump peek here. He's going to be wise to fall off there, as he could be dropped pretty quickly if he's not careful. Meanwhile, though, Arya just sneaking into the A bomb site, and he might be able to get a frag here on Valens if Valens peeks as poorly. Oh my goodness, Valens, what is going on?
Whoa.
Valens still almost turns and gets the kill. Valens down to 3 HP there for a second, had the UMP in hand, couldn't get the shot. It's now a 3 versus 5, but Rifle's still in favor of Exile here. Professor Chaos is going to find a kill onto Arya, and that makes it a 4 versus 3.
That was so clever, though.
And it looks like they're going for that B play. So Bomb's going to plant over on B. Professor Chaos and Automatic versus Mega Server Summit. Jay Mitchell and Irokanji. Jay Mitchell getting 1. That is Automatic. It's a 2K on the round for him. And Professor Chaos knows that he's nearby, but can't spot him out because of the deep smoke. And he's going to go for the kill. Oh, he repeats, but the railing robs him of the frag. Jay Mitchell able to get the kill, and that is an eco trade there for Area 51. Taking the first round after a win from Exile, and Exile now completely broke. They're going to have to eco back. If they win this, I might just scream.
Yeah, that's what a round there for Area 51, as they're definitely bringing things back in not necessarily their favor, but they've kind of neutralized the momentum. If they can pick up a couple more rounds, kind of string them in a row, would be very important, as we do see rushing CTs. They're coming up mid to Fountain very quickly here, Miniker rather. Again, I think some people were a little confused. We're not saying Mega Server, and that is intentional. Technically, his name is Miniker. That's what he's signed up. That's what his name is. But he plays under Mega Server. I do believe that was his 1.6 alias. So that's what he used to compete under. So kind of utilizing that as a throwback, I imagine. So apologies to anybody that's a little bit confused there, as Valens will be able to get a frag here and picks up a FAMAS for his efforts, as now a 4v4 situation. We're going to see Rush taking down Arya, and if the CTs can pull this out, Area 51 is back in a very unfortunate situation. They have the momentum at least slightly on their side, but Automatic on the flank. This is going to be massive. He's going to see Summit. He's going to come up behind Miniker. He sees Miniker right in front of him. He's just going to work this very slowly. Eventually grabs the frag. Now Summit, he's in an awkward situation as well, trying to chase down Automatic. will eventually get that frag, but drop to 66 HP as now we're in a 2v2 situation.
Yeah, decent eco here from Exile, so a bit of an eco trade. Potentially, Valen's the last man standing, 100 HP and a FAMAS in hand. Summit does have an AK, Irukandji with a FAMAS. They're going to get that bomb plant on A with enough time left to spare, 15 seconds about left in the round. And Valens has to play this wisely. He could potentially get a kill. And look at him just sneak in here. You think he knows where they are. He gives his position away just a little bit. Gonna get behind that box just as the smoke fades. So wise play there. Unfortunately not able to get the recoil down. Aim punch getting the better of him. Irukandji gets the frag, and that is now 9-9 tie score. Area 51's got to be thrilled after losing the pistol round. They come back in eco. Exile has a nice eco there, though. They're really putting some hurting on the Area 51 bank. So they're going to have to continue that here. Exile's got to do that one more time. Really damage their economy, especially now that they're picking up some ops and some AKs. And then they could be coming into the first buy with a bit of an upper hand just due to the advantage of nades and everything like that.
Here we go as Jay Mitchell will be rushing up the stairwell here. Behind him is Summit. He's going to be checking through the window to see if he can spot anybody out in construction. He does not see that Rush is right on the other side of this door, but we can see that here as he's just waiting outside of Squeaky. You're going to have two T's rushing up mid, two heading out long as they do take control of that real estate. And the sooner you can make it to front sight of A, the more you can kind of play around with swapping between sites. Because you know that real estate between the areas, now they're going to have that player Summit come up from stairs. So now it's not necessarily their control, but they do have a path to rotate here. So we will see Jay Mitchell. He's going to be sending a flash into sight. Does have a smoke in hand. Again, I imagine they're going to be utilizing this front sight plant once again. But right around the corner here, that's going to be Valens with a 5-7. Gets dropped by Jay Mitchell. And we're going to see trades back and forth. Will go in the favor of the T's, though, as now Professor Chaos, Rush, last two alive. They're on the flank. Irukandji taking down Rush. Will be able to get one frag. That's going to be an AK-47 for his effort. Tries to get another one, but Summit with a great shot there as Area 51. They have the round lead now. 10-9 is the score line. But on the T side, they need to keep this ball rolling. They need to make sure that Exile does not get a foothold. They got to keep it that kind of dogfight that they've basically had throughout this match.
Yeah, and if Exile wins this round, they can still buy up the economy on Area 51, starting to build quite a bit, even though it's only been 3 rounds in their favor because of the way they won. Losing that pistol, then winning on the eco, and then going ahead and saving guns from the previous round helped their economy so much. So they definitely have the economic upper hand right now. If they can continue to trade or take rounds here, Exile is going to be really hurting for money. As you can see right now, not a single player above 500 after this full buy from Exile. Meanwhile, everyone on Area 51 sitting pretty good except for Arya, who's at 350. So money is going to play a huge factor in the second half of this game. Exile, meanwhile, absolutely has to start winning rounds. They can't do so well on T side and then come in and do exactly what Area 51 did on the CT side. They need to show teams how this map is played, show how CT sided this map is. They need to close this game out. I think that if they can do that, it's going to be 16-12 in favor of Exile. That's my prediction.
Oh, great shot there from Automatic. That was a must-have as, again, glass cannon on him. Very important that he gets those shots as they're out at that long range rather than kind of a dirty fight, as he's going to get Summit as well, and I do believe that was an unintentional frag. He's looking at Irukandji out long, and he's actually going to get hit. And that's going to make sure that he doesn't hit that shot onto Irukandji. That leg shot, being that he had no armor, sent his aim up into the air, and now in a 1v4, Irukandji is just going to try and save this AWP, dropping a smoke on his trail, and 10 seconds to spare. He should be able to at least save this weapon. Like we said at the start of this round, there is enough money on the Area 51 side so they can buy in this next round, but having that AWP and making sure they don't have to rebuy it, that's going to be a very nice position for Area 51 to be in, as Exile, they picked that round up flawlessly. So now Automatic didn't have any armor in that last round. He should be able to buy it here. Well, he will be able to. And we do see that happen. So now we can maybe play a little bit more aggressively. That round playing just back sight by truck, and it did work out very well, but we'll see if he opts to take that same angle or not.
Yeah, and he did impressive work with the glass cannon there, really holding off that sight and this is the round that Area 51 needs to come back and win, because if they lose this, their money's not going to be sitting as great as it was. You see Miniker at 150, picking up that op again, could definitely hurt them. Arya at 50, Irakanji at 200. Jay Mitchell and Summit, the only ones who have enough money to afford a rebuy here after this round. Jay Mitchell is able to get one. That's Valen's down, a big kill for them. Valen's a little bit rough start here on the CT side for him. Meanwhile, Automatic gets tagged down to 15 HP. He's going to fall back towards the A bomb site. Here come the smokes, nades, and flashes, typical of the A take here, as they're going to possibly go for that A execute.
Yeah, Rush is going to be playing from the green box, and Automatic, he should be happy he's even alive, as when Valens went down, he was actually shot down to 15 HP as he dropped a smoke, and they were actually spamming through the smoke in a way that if he had just ran back straight into sight, it would have hit him for sure. But he actually stopped, stayed out in the open behind the smoke, then delayed and went back, and that's the reason that we see him now posted up inside of the A site. And the smokes are going down, but this is a fake, as we do see the terrorists are going to be hitting this B site. Mask, only one alive here, and look at this. She's actually going to be heading back around to construction, but not before Arya sees what's going on, takes her down, gets Professor Chaos as well. Miniker taking down Rush, Automatic getting dropped, and that's a flawless round for Area 51. They're doing pretty darn good. Like we were saying, they've had plenty of time to work on their T-side strats. They only had 2 round wins in the map against Paradox on the T side, where they started off, but they're doing really, really well for themselves against Exile here on this T side.
Absolutely, but still way too close of a game to really pick a winner as of right now. I still kind of give the edge to Exile. They just need to get their thing together on CT side right now. They've had flashes, but at the same time, so has Area 51. Still, though, 11-10 coming into round 22 here. Jay Mitchell is going to pick up one before being traded out there. That's Valens down. Rush with the trade. Rush getting traded out by Summit, making it a 4 versus 3 here. It's an eco from Exile, pistol armor on Mask and Professor Chaos. CZ in the hand of Chaos. And he's going to go for that kill on Arya, not come out the victor, and it looks like the push is on over towards B. Mask getting into a duel here with Arya and Summit. Summit does come out the victor. Automatic's going to try and catch Irakanji off guard. Irakanji with a nice peek, the aim punch, throwing his crosshair off. Another round on the board for Area 51. That's 12-10 in favor of Area 51. And I'd say at this point, Exile bettors are getting a little bit sweaty.
Yeah, they're squirming a little bit in their seats. They're like, all right, yep, we're on the CT side. We can make this happen. Yeah, Area 51, they've got 12 rounds, but that's quite all right. Quite all right. Exile, CT side, they're going to be just fine. So on the other hand, I'm not so convinced. Exile hasn't shown very much to us on that CT side, and I think that they're a little bit afraid at this point, as I'm saying that, though, Rush, he's going to get peeky as he's heading out towards the squeaky door, actually jumps and misses the jump onto the railing, so Summit might realize that he might be here as some shots are fired. Summit on the other side, inside of Squeaky here, opens up the door. He's going to try and get the frag onto Professor Chaos, misses the shot, as he's still going to try and take that aim duel. This is some confidence being shown from Summit, as he's actually stutter stepping on the stairs. And one thing to note is, as soon as you enter that stairs, it's a little bit different than moving when you're on flat ground. It actually gives you falling accuracy. So again, I was told that a long time ago. I hope that that is correct. I realized I dropped that knowledge before I've actually confirmed that, but my understanding is that is exactly how it works. Physics in this game are odd. Arya taking down Rush, and this looks like another round for Area 51 here, as Professor Chaos and Mask in no real position to retake this A-side site.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just try and get as far away as possible. Not even try and get some exit frags, just book it, get out of there. Area 51 would be smart to chase at this point. They've got more than enough money to lose a couple AKs. Obviously, they don't want to lose too many, but every player fully capable of rebuying here, and things are starting to get scary for Exile. They're going to go down 13-10 on Overpass, and you really wonder, do they have what it takes? So far, we just said they haven't shown us anything. They're giving up the A bomb site too easily, giving up the B bomb site too easily as well. They're not really capable of defending, and maybe they just lack the knowledge of the map. This is what we feared about when it came to Overpass. We've seen Area 51 play. We've seen them play Overpass. We've never seen Exile play Overpass. So I think that's what's happening, is they just don't have any experience on the map together.
Yeah, and we are going to see Mask was the only one to save a weapon there. So that's very, very important that stripping one weapon away out of two saving players for Area 51, taking away from Exile, that's very important as now, again, Mask only one with a gun on the board. So they do look like they are going to get aggressive. All four players heading towards the stairwell area, taking down Jay Mitchell and actually dropping the bomb in Summit. And that's the kind of aggression that earns you what we see here. It's very, very risky. But the other team just really doesn't see it coming. Arya, though, trying to come up from the flank. Oh, this nade's going to be beautiful as Automatic dead to rights as now a 3v3 situation. Arya actually shooting at his own teammate. That was Irukanji up there. He's going to peek up. Doesn't get the frag, and now it's Miniker versus the world. 1v3. He's got his Deagle in hand. Has an AWP as well. The bomb is down with the CTs. If Exile drops this round, their hearts are just going to absolutely sink as they need to put rounds on the board, and this is the closest thing we've seen to a round in quite a while.
And oddly enough, coming off of an eco where you saw heavy aggression, they caught Area 51 so off guard. You can actually hear them on voice comms in game talking about it. They just were not anticipating that kind of play. Miniker is able to get the first kill, but Valens and Rush combined on the kill onto Miniker. They're going to get an op for their trouble, so a nice eco round win there for Exile, and they're going to be sitting on a nice stack of cash. You're going to be able to full buy up. And at the same time, though, Area 51, their money is so stacked that I think they could probably ride that wave for a little while here. Unfortunately, Miniker and Irukanji, Miniker buying an op a couple times here and losing it is really hurting his ability to stack money. Summit, meanwhile, though, at 10k, more than enough money to drop for the rest of his team if they need to. So Area 51 still doing okay economically speaking. If Exile can string together enough rounds to take the lead, they could be staring at an eco from Area 51, though. So at this point, it's a matter of who's going to win the most rounds in a row. And I know that sounds silly, but if Area 51 can afford to trade round for round, Exile cannot. They need to win multiple rounds in a row, break the Area 51 economy, and not only that, potentially take the lead.
We'll see if they have what it takes as the bomb is steadily approaching that A site. And Exile, they haven't been able to hold it very well as of yet, so we'll see if they can make it happen. The only round that we really saw them hold it was when Automatic hit these shots as they came out of long, and currently they have Arya picking, boosted up on the wall. That's going to be a great shot, but Irukanji getting taken down by Automatic. That's a frag in the other direction that is very important as now entering into the site. Valens goes down to Summit. And that was a frag that he really needed. He was close. Bank truck. Arya getting one onto Professor Chaos. And now Mask, last one alive in a 1v3. She takes down Arya. So that's going to make it, well, it was 1v4. Now a 1v3. The bomb is yet to be planted. 20 seconds left on the clock. They're going to be sailing some nades down through. That's a smoke grenade. We've got an HE as well, and she's going to peek up. Miniker on the other side whiffs the shot, and Miniker needs to be hitting those, but it does look like they are going to be taking this round regardless, unless Mask can go huge. 40 HP, does have a kit, but Summit puts her down, and Summit on 17 frags right now. He had some impactful frags there. He's got 2 on the board for the round, 17 in the map, and Jay Mitchell, he's sitting on 25 frags, so Area 51, they're looking to close this out on the T side. They must have reevaluated a couple things after losing to Paradox. They know that their lineup is capable of being a team like that, so they wanted to come in here. Obviously, they didn't pick the map, but it was randomized, so no choice there. You have to play on it if you go to the third map, and they are doing work on this T side.
And unfortunately, what you're seeing from Exile is the random nature of that third map. You know, you can't really blame Exile for coming into a map they don't have much experience on. It's obvious they don't know how to play this quite as a team. They're playing okay considering that fact. If you watch them, though, you can just tell there's pieces missing. They're just not as connected as they were on some of the other maps. The team play is kind of gone, and that's just the nature of Overpass in general. The only rounds that they really managed to do much on the CD side were eco rounds. So, unfortunately for them, I maybe overestimated their ability on this map, and they're really struggling at this point. This looks like it's going to be GG in favor of Area 51 here. They could potentially take this 2-1. As I say that, though, Automatic is going to find a headshot onto Jay Mitchell. So starting things out nicely for Exile in round 26. Going to try and even things out is Summit. Not going to spot anybody over by the stairs, shooting at the ghost of potentially a CS of tomorrow's future. Area 52, though, going to get a kill there. That's Mask down. Even things up. 4 versus 4. Valens, Professor Chaos, and Automatic, plus Rush. Really need to stop this push here. They're coming in Canal fast, and it's all 4 players deep in Canal. They have a good hold here. 3 on the B bomb site. There's 1 behind Sandbags on Cat. That is Rush, and Rush is going to have to come up big here. Summit needs to get tagged, and unfortunately, Rush is not going to find the kill. That was a big one to lose. Automatic, meanwhile, taking down Miniker, making it a 3 versus 3. And obviously, the gun advantage in favor of Area 51, as Valens is stuck with that P250. And here comes Automatic, another kill for him. Irakanji is down, and now Arya gets dropped by Valens. Meanwhile, those Summit on Cat going to take down 1. That's Professor Chaos. Takes down 2, but gets traded out by Valens. So close to clutching that for his team. So Exile not quite out of this yet, but again, the money from Area 51 is redonkulous. It looks like Summit is going to be sitting on 16K, so more than enough to buy out for the remainder of this game is Summit. So Exile pretty much going to be facing buy rounds until it's a tie game or it's going to overtime.
We'll see if they can fight their way through it. The storm is not quite over yet, as 14-12 is the scoreline. Area 51 very close to putting themselves onto match point, but Exile, they're showing signs of life here as they were able to get quite a few frags, and obviously the round there, Automatic was able to work his magic, and when that happens, definitely the rounds could go in a way for Exile, but already some damage being done. We see Jay Mitchell down to 33 HP as they are working an aggressive squeaky door once again. Jay Mitchell pushing in, gets dropped as they are hitting from all 3 angles into the stairwell. Summit still alive down there, but he's actually going to drop Rush down to 7 HP, so not a bad play at all, but this is looking like another round in the favor of the CT side, as now Automatic, Mask, and Valens all get frags. Summit in a 1v5, and this would put things into 14-13, getting oh so close. We've just had so many close matches here. It's honestly unreal that this one has pushed to this many rounds, considering the way things have looked. We kind of expected Exile coming into the CT side to do work, but it's been Area 51 that's shown up, and although it's 14-13, they honestly have gotten a lot on that T side already. 7 rounds total, and they're trying to push it to match point in this next round.
And this is going to be a big round for Exile, because Summit's going to have to drop multiple weapons here to feed the rest of his team, and you can see that alone breaks their economy. So Summit had to drop 2 AKs and 1 for himself, if I'm not mistaken. And as a result, he's now down from that 10K to 400 bucks. So the richest player on the T side is Jay Mitchell. It looks like Exile might have found what they need to take some rounds. If they take this round, Area 51 is going to be on an eco. That is huge. So that's going to be 14-14 Exile facing an eco. They can take the advantage there. It could go down to round number 30. And who knows what's going to happen at that point. Automatic, meanwhile, going to take down Miniker early in the round. Irakanji does respond. So it's a 4 versus 4 right now. Irakanji down to 28 HP. And it looks like the push is going to be over towards A, as they are stacking up in that direction. Alrighty, Professor Chaos getting behind that truck, the much coveted position there on the A bomb site. Plenty of cover and much ease for spraying that new plant site in front of the box.
What a nade from Valens. Drops Jay Mitchell to 43 in front sight, and now the smokes are raining in here. They're going to be trying to push into front sight. Valens close left takes a number of bullets as Jay Mitchell just putting it through the smoke. He's going to come all the way through, and this looks like a round for the CTs. The bomb is planted, but how long will it stay that way? Will they be able to defuse here as Irakanji just running all the way back? They're going to be boosting up, and are they going to be able to spot in? They're just jump peeking to see if they can get that boost finally all the way up, and Mask takes significant damage here, and coming around the corner, though, that's going to be Rush in a 1v4 as Arya gets dropped as well, and we have a tie game on our hands.
Where did that shot hit through the wall? Was that just on the? Did it just clip on the edge of the planter?
It
I
didn't see. Yeah, it must.
Because I came up from the flash there, and Rush was spraying that gate, and I was very confused. Oh, it came through the edge of the pillar. I see. I was like, wait a minute, you can wallbang through there into the bathrooms? That's insane.
Yeah, that would be a crazy angle if that was the case.
That's like a 1.6 wallbang.
Yep. Oh, we are live here, round 29, as, again, you put both these teams 14-14. You've got to say that Exile has the advantage, being that they're on the CT side. But what we've seen from Area 51 so far makes me think that this is a neutral playing field right now. Although it is very CT-sided, the momentum that Area 51 has from just getting all those T-side rounds is still probably behind them. Yeah, it's getting very close, but the fact that they've come this close, they've got to use that as motivation rather than kind of losing that motivation, being that they've lost a couple of rounds in a row here, a total of 3 in a row, actually. So they are going to be heading to this front side of A once again, as Automatic, being that key player behind the truck, he's kind of peeking through the glass of that semi-truck as he does sail and nade in. Irokanji already down to 50 HP. And the smokes are here. Jay Mitchell will start that plant. It's spraying through his Automatic. They aren't going to be able to make it happen. Actually, no. Valens will be able to get Jay Mitchell, and that's massive as now Rush gets a frag. Miniker finally fires back and takes down Rush, but a 3v4 situation as the bomb is yet to be planted. They've got 30 seconds left on the clock. Valens putting significant damage onto Irokanji, but Automatic finishing off. Arya getting a frag in the other direction, though. Now things slowing down slightly as 20 seconds left on the clock. The bomb is down in front of sight. Mask is close left around this bank truck. Can she get this frag? It would be very important as Arya hoping to peek out and get a frag as he's trying his hardest. Will come out, gets Mask, now in a 2v2 situation. Tries to get Professor Chaos, won't make it happen though. Miniker, he's got 5 seconds. He tries to get the frag onto Professor Chaos, can't get it on Automatic either, and that's the round coming to conclusion as Automatic puts down Miniker with a USP post end of the round. Oh my goodness, Exile. They put a round on the board when they desperately needed it.
Yeah, and we're going to see the force buy now from Area 51. Obviously, their back's against the wall. They have to win this to take it to overtime, and we did see some of those silly CSGO physics right there in that last kill. Miniker's body flying like 15 feet into the air. I don't know what happened. That was the USP of God, as it shot the biggest bullet out of a USP I've ever seen. Nonetheless, it was funny to watch. I had a hard time not laughing over top of you casting it. That's going to be a round for Exile that they absolutely needed. It's round 30 right now. They're up 1. And this game has ping-ponged a lot. It's gone back and forth. At one point, I thought Exile's got this easily, and then that kind of switched, and then it switched back. But we do see a really quick A execute right now, and Automatic's going to have to come up big here. He doesn't get a single kill. Valens is getting into position, but I don't know what happened here. They only had a one-man hold on A, and that backfires horribly.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking.
Oh, geez. They do have control of sight here as Rush. He's going to be coming up from bank stairs. Gets one frag. Gets Jay Mitchell as well in a 3v3 situation where Summit goes down 2v3, trying to retake the site, and that's going to be their round here as Exile puts it away. We were so close to seeing another overtime, but Exile finally closes it out, and that's what we expected to see in this map, but not in that fashion as Area 51, boy, did they put up a comeback, but it just wasn't enough. So Exile, they will take that best of 3. They will continue on to the round of 4 in the upper bracket. Area 51, they're finding themselves in that lower bracket. So just a heads up, guys, we are going to have one more match tonight. You've probably seen it on CSGO Lounge. UB United versus Noble. It's going to be a best of 1. So make sure you guys stay tuned in for that as we're going to be going live in that in just a few moments here. But what a map. That was insane.
Yeah, that was a great series in general. Exile, I thought Exile was walking away with that the second we saw the maps come out. Cash, Dust2, hands down, I thought Exile's got this. And then when I saw Overpass as the third map, I was like, well, even if Exile loses the second map, it's game over anyway. We watched Area 51 play Overpass, and they weren't that strong. But wow, what a game. I did not see that coming. Anyway, we are going to be seeing UB United face off against Noble Esports in a best of 1. That's the lower brackets, so the loser is out. Winner moves on in the lower brackets, gaining more chances to make their way back up for the grand finals. Nonetheless, we do have a giveaway right now on Twitter. We actually have a couple. So we have a follower giveaway. I think that's for a P250 bet. What is it? The P250, the one with the money on it. Why can't I remember the name of that?
P250 Franklin?
Franklin, yes. P250 Franklin, a P2000 Cortacera. I think we have the giveaway on Twitter through Hito and GoRGN TV. That is a Deagle Blaze. And I've been told that we have another giveaway as well, a StatTrack M4 Griffin. brought to you by Ginger Stats. So you'll see his Twitter spammed in the chat. Please go ahead and follow him. That's sub only as far as I know. So subscribers only eligible for that Stat Track M4 Griffin. And so if you want a chance to get in on that giveaway, hit that sub button. There's a lot of perks that come along with that. Not only do you get sub only chat, you'll get information such as our Mumble. You'll get to come talk to us, hang out with us, and you'll get access to all the emotes, etc. But yeah, definitely hit that sub button if you want to get in on that. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we take a quick break before the next match?
No, that's everything from me. We are going to, yeah, like you said, take a quick break, and when we return, a best of one. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.